Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, August 10th, 2013. This is episode 1003. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Bespoke Post, a product subscription club for men. Bespoke's monthly box of awesome keeps you up on the latest in food, drink, fashion, and more. For 20% off your first box, go to bespokepost.com/twit. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, home theater, and all that jazz. I may regret this. I gave Heather Heyman a button for your microphone. Now you can turn it on, huh?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
This
you know we
is
had
off.
engineers working all week for that?
All week?
All
It was
week.
difficult?
Burke McQuinn was under the table. We had people crawling.
I've heard he's usually under the table.
Well, that's it. So this is the show where we answer all your questions about, technology stuff, computers, and boy, a lot of what we're going to talk about, not only today but in general, is smartphones. What do you use, Heather? We have to qualify you. I should ask this in the. I used to ask when I would interview somebody to see if they're technical. I would say, what search engine do you use? And if they said Alta Vista, but see, this was a long time ago. Now everybody says Google. In fact, if you said Bing, I might think, wow, you must be kind of sophisticated because you've gone beyond the Google.
As in you're just trying to be different?
Yeah, or whatever. Do you you sport a iPhone? I'm going to guess because everybody does.
Yeah. I'm a very standard issue San Francisco gal.
Well, we're waiting. You know, Apple should announce probably within the next month or so the next generation iPhone. And the rumors are flying fast and furious about what this could possibly be. There may be two, the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C. The C will be, well, you could say stand for cheap because it will be a less expensive iPhone. But I think Apple will say it stands for color because the strong rumor, and I believe this, is that they will come in a variety of colors. Apple, there's precedent for this because with the iPod, once Apple really kind of was dominant in the marketplace with the Big Daddy, they started nibbling away at the low end, you know, the SanDisk Sanzas and all the inexpensive MP3 players with the iPod Shuffle and the iPod Nano, and and those were the ones that came in color. Somehow, I guess there's a correlation between cheap and colorful. I don't know. But that's what the C will apparently stand for. And then there are all sorts of rumors about what the 5S will portend. I don't expect a lot of hardware differences in the 5S. Generally, Apple does hardware every other year. The iPhone 5 hardware is new as of last year. And they are going to introduce this new iOS 7. And I think they're going to focus on the new software more than the new hardware. There will be faster chip inside. There has to be because iOS 7 does some pretty amazing stuff under the hood in terms of graphics. And so you need more hardware there. But I think I'm going to... So are you due for an upgrade, Heather? Do you do it every 2 years?
Oh, wow. I don't count. I'm the kind of person that drives something into the ground.
Yeah.
And then I get something.
Yeah. Which you did to your car the other day, I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. That's hurtful.
It's okay.
That's hurtful. How is your car?
It's totaled, but I'm seeing that there are comparable vehicles out there that I will get myself back into. It's all good.
So until we total the smartphone, you're stuck with the iPhone 4, 4S. How old is it?
Hyundai Elantra. Oh, wait, what are we talking
It's
about
the Hyundai Elantra of phones is what it is.
I'm in a rent-a-car.
Are you in a iPhone 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are due. You could get a 2-year replacement. $200.
The next thing I'm getting is a new laptop. I was in the Apple store on Stockton Street in Union Square the other day.
Yeah.
Talking to a nice kid.
I think there's two different kinds of people. There's people who upgrade, like me, upgrade anytime I can. In fact, but all the major carriers now, Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T offer upgrade plans. You know, AT&T, I think, started. There's Next, there's Edge. The idea being, for a little bit extra, you can have a new phone every 6 months or so. And that's for people like me who are just gadget hounds. I have new phones more often than that. But that's my job, so I can totally justify it. And then there are people like you who really, quite reasonably say there's nothing wrong with this phone. And Apple's got to entice you. You're the one they're aiming at.
You know, exactly. Because they almost do their job too good as far as updates.
Right.
Well, I feel like it's all new then.
But you don't have Siri. You don't have. You do.
Oh,
do
did
you?
I tell you I had the wrong phone?
You have a 4S then. That has Siri.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah. No, that's, by the way, also completely normal. People don't know what the heck.
I forget.
Why should you? That's my job. You shouldn't have to know what kind of phone you have. So you have a 4S. You have Siri. Yeah, you probably have pretty much everything that you would get on an iPhone 5 except screen size. And I don't think the iPhone 5S is going to get any bigger. It's going to be another one of those 4-inch. Yours is 3.5. But all they did was they added a row of icons, 100 pixels at the top. So it's kind of long and thin. And I don't think that's going to change. So I don't think there is going to be a lot of pressure. And this is bad for Apple, by the way, because they've got it. The problem is sales slow after a while. They were pretty good last quarter, but they've got to keep people buying these phones. And that's why every year they update it. You'll be buying next year. That's my prediction. Not this year.
Okay.
Next year. 8888 Ask Leo. If you got a question, you'll be talking to Heather. Ask. I'll give you a break, Heather, so you can answer the phones. We can get some calls lined up here. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., Skype will work. You can call that number. It's toll free in the U.S., so it won't cost you anything on Skype to call. There's new phones though that are very tempting. You know, outside the Apple universe, you've got to be looking at this Nokia. The Lumia 1020, I'm seeing more and more people post pictures, and it is as good as a point-and-shoot camera, maybe better in low-light situations. It looks gorgeous. It's 41 megapixels. Now, you shouldn't judge a phone by the megapixels. You really shouldn't. The camera is, there's lots more to a camera than how many pixels it captures. But I think that a lot of people, and it's Windows Phone, which is, 3.7% of the market. It's a very small fraction of the market, but I bet a lot of people are going to be looking at the Lumia 1020 just because it's got such a great camera. You wouldn't need a point and shoot if you had the 1020. Of course, there's a new Moto X which will be coming out soon. You can get the 1020 now from AT&T. The Moto X you'll be able to get from all the carriers in the next few weeks. That's the first Google phone, the first phone since Motorola was purchased by Google for $12.5 billion. How many phones do you have to sell to make $12.5 billion? I don't know. More than a few. That's going to be an interesting choice. I've been carrying that around, and I like it. I think this phone is going to appeal to normal people. It doesn't appeal to the geeks who want, I've got to have a faster processor, a higher res screen, I need a bigger screen. It doesn't appeal to them, but it appeals to people who say, no, I want a very functional phone that fits in my hand, it does everything I want, and you can even talk to it, which is kind of cool, and it responds to you. So I think that's going to be a compelling choice, and especially on AT&T, where you can go online and order one of 17 different backs in 17 different colors. Although that sounds like more than it is, because there's 3 shades of white and 3 shades of black. So I don't consider that colors. If you go to Verizon, Sprint, or actually T-Mobile, you can't buy it at the store, but I guess you can get it online. They'll just have white and black. But AT&T for at least a few months is going to have an exclusive of colors. I don't know. Is that cell phones? That you could have a purple one, a green one, a red one. It's certainly, there's enough. There's 252 combinations because you have different colored backs, 17 of those, but you also have different color accents, the little metal buttons and things. The accents can look different. And you can customize with engraving. I'm waiting. They're going to do, again, this is really kooky. They're going to do wooden backs. 4 different wooden backs. There's a ebony, there's teak, there's ash and oak, I think, are the other 2. Wouldn't it be? I don't know. I think a wooden phone. That's the ultimate status symbol. My phone's made out of wood. 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk phones, computers, the internet, whatever's on your mind. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't think I'll get termites on my wooden phone. I don't think George Washington got termites on his teeth.
Follow along with me here.
Did he? I don't know. Why isn't this charging? Maybe I have to turn it on. You may wonder, why buy a Noogle phone? I mean, a Nexus S. Because I just want to know what the plain Noogle experience is. I need to have that at all times. Weird that they made this a glass back. There's no reason for that to be glass. This is a Noogle phone. I'm English. You need to refer to the SIM card instructions. Skip the SIM card. I don't need no stinking SIM cards. So, how are you, chat room? iPhone says, my next phone will be made of tin and string. That's a good idea. Can music download via... Yes, it can be, because iTunes no longer has copy protection. So when you download music via iTunes, if you downloaded it in the last few years, it will be unprotected AAC. So anything that can play AAC, which is almost everything, can play it. And that's an interesting question, one that I was actually asking this morning, because I bought one of these little SanDisk things that Dick was talking about that has 64 gigs of storage and is a Wi-Fi. No, I was joking. It's not a Noogle phone. There's no Noogle phone. That's a neologism. I made that up. But it's a good one. I think we should all use it. The Nexuses aren't Nexuses. They're Noogles. They do call new employees at Google Nooglers. So I didn't make that up. That's exactly right, Waikiki Guru. That's why I needed a Nexus 4. That, and I need it for T-Mobile. This is going to be my travel T-Mobile phone, an unlocked GSM phone. Believe it or not, I don't have an unlocked phone. And I didn't think I'd be able to get a Moto X in time for my trip. Henry is not yet settled into college, but will be August 22nd is when he's going out. We are shipping stuff to the school, though, in preparation. So soon. The Nexus is unlocked. The Nexus is unlocked. It doesn't. It's unlocked by default. It doesn't have any carrier attachments. It is a marvel of unlocking and pure Googleiciousness. In fact, the first thing it's going to do, I think, is download 4.3. I do like this. It immediately starts downloading all your apps, which is cool. Well, yes, the cat dragged me in, as a matter of fact. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Did you see what the cat dragged in? 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Our website, techguylabs.com. This is episode 1003. Yes, the third episode of the second millennium of the Tech Guy Show. If you have a question or a comment or you hear something on the air and you want to know more, the website is a great place to go because we put everything up there, including after the show, audio and video of the show, so you can watch along. Heather Hammond, I see we have a full board of fabulous callers. Who should I talk to first?
Tricia is so very relevant to what we were just discussing.
Oh, good.
So let's do that.
In San Diego. Hello, Tricia. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo.
Hi, Tricia.
Hey, Leo. I am a longtime listener of your show, and I am a webmaster for a federal agency here in San Diego, and I do a lot of social media. I use a ton of data on my iPhone 4S. And I'm in one of those lucky people who got grandfathered into the Verizon.
Oh yeah, you want the continued infinite data plan.
Indeed. And so I've been trying to figure what can I do, and I'm wondering if when the new iPhones come out, perhaps the current iPhone 5s will be, on the market a little bit cheaper. People will try to sell them to get new ones.
Yes.
Can I then do the transfer?
Yes.
If I purchase, I can do that. So I keep my unlimited data.
Yeah, you have to ask Verizon. It's my understanding that you have to pay full price for the next device to keep the unlimited data. So you can't you can't get the subsidized price and then keep they will change your plan. But I would ask Verizon, and they may just to keep you. They may say, "Oh, never mind, we'll waive that," because you want the subsidy if you can. You're going to extend for another 2 years probably anyway, right?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. I've had Verizon forever, but what I'm thinking is if I say go on to Craigslist or just something where a person's getting rid of their iPhone 5.
I see what you're saying. So you'd buy somebody else's Verizon iPhone 5. Yeah, they would reset your data plan because you have to call them. You have to call them to activate it.
Okay.
And at that point, I would call them now and say, "Hey, I got an." Say, my brother gave me his iPhone 5. Can I transfer my account over and be very clear, without losing unlimited data? The problem is they don't want you to keep it, right? They do those as a tease, as a come on. The CEO of AT&T said last year the worst mistake he ever made was to offer unlimited data. They hate it. AT&T even's trying to get you off that unlimited data. So I would say call them and get them to promise you that you won't lose it.
Promise in writing.
Yeah. If you buy a used or new phone off contract, you get to keep the unlimited data, says Web 9378. But I would check with them because this is too valuable. You don't want to mess around.
It is. I use so much data for my job that. And I'm a contractor, so I pay for my own phone. Yeah. So it's a real big deal. Wow.
Do you find they throttle you after 5 gigabytes a month?
No, honestly, I actually even canceled my wireless at home.
And you use that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't make a ton of money, so I try to squeeze a little bit out.
Unlimited data is the greatest thing ever. And, of course, the reason they hate it is because people like you are just gulping down data. But that's good. They offered it, and you should keep it.
Yeah, and then I just, if honestly, if they don't let me keep it, I'm going to keep the 4S, like the last caller said, until I drive it into the ground.
Why not? Hey, it's great to talk to you. Thank you,
Thank
Tricia.
you very much, Leo.
All righty, take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think... the general rule on Verizon is if you pay full price for your next phone, not subsidized, and this shouldn't be. This is completely untied to the full unlimited data thing. It's not related, but that's how they want to do it. Then they'll keep your unlimited data plan. And the other issue, of course, is what does unlimited mean? Because in general, the phone companies say, well, unlimited means you can have as much as you want, but after a certain amount, usually 5 gigabytes, we're going to throttle you down to 3G or slower speeds. We're going to throttle you down to really low speeds. You still have unlimited data, but it might take you the rest of the month to download that file. So I'm glad to hear that Verizon, at least in her case, has not been throttling her. But in general, that's what the carriers do. And so it's a little bit, come on, that's a little misleading. But when have the cell phone companies ever been straightforward, huh? And there's some debate. I have a, quote, T-Mobile unlimited plan. $70, I think, were unlimited talk, text, and data. And some people tell me I'm going to be throttled. Some people don't. The truth is, I can't try as I might. It's hard for me to get to 5 gigabytes because I have Wi-Fi everywhere. That's the other thing to keep in mind. When your phone is at work or your phone is at home and it's on the Wi-Fi, it's not using cellular data. It's only doing that when you're outside on the road, not near a Wi-Fi. And it's hard for me to get past 5 gigabytes that way. I try as I might. Louis in Hutchinson, Kansas. You're next.
How are you, Leo?
I'm good. Is it Louis?
Well, I go by Lou.
Lou, I like it. Hello, Lou.
Except people think I'm a lady if I go by Lou. I come in today say, well, how can I help you, ma'am?
You don't sound like a lady to me, Lou.
Hey, good.
Good to talk to
I've
you.
got a question. I've got a website I'd like to plug, if you don't mind.
All righty. Well, what depends on what the website's all about.
Well, it's no advertising, nothing for sale, just how much fun retired life can be. And,
I love it.
Maybe a little bit about kiteboarding.
You're kiteboarding now. See, that's fun retirement. What's the website?
ArizonaLouKiteboarder.com. I live in Phoenix.
ArizonaLouKiteboarder.com.
Yep, that's LOU. And if you just Google Arizona Lou, out of about 15 million hits or so, my website's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
You're number one, absolutely. You're the only Arizona Lou. See, that's probably the way nowadays people should give out addresses, is say, oh, by the way, we brought your site down.
Oh, cool.
Before I could even get to it, everybody else went to it. So good. Your plug worked. You are now offline. But that's how I think more and more people are going to be giving out addresses, is not ArizonaLouKiteboarder.com, but just Google Arizona Lou. In fact, I want my business card just to say Google Twit. That's the name of my company. We're if you Google TWIT, we're number one. That's all you need to remember. Works pretty well, right? So what can I do for you?
People who know me, it's easy to remember the URL, but people who don't, they'll never remember it.
Google. People, it's so funny because one of the number one search terms on Google is Yahoo. Instead of writing yahoo.com, people type Yahoo, hit return, and it goes to yahoo.com, and they're happy.
Yeah. Anyway, I maintain the website, do some pictures and some video editing on a netbook now that you can imagine how slow it is, but I like the size. So I'm thinking of replacing it with maybe a tablet or maybe a convertible or maybe a laptop. And my quandary is which one to get, but also how do tablets and convertibles do with a second monitor, because I want to use.
Great question.
Right now, I have two monitors.
Hang on, Lou. We're going to take a break for the top bottom of the hour. That's a question I think a lot of people have questions on. Hold on. Yeah, good tease. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's refresh. He really crashed his site. Crashed it hard. So in the UK, companies are just saying search for. I think it's okay to say Google. Google Arizona Lou is great. Google Twit, that's great. And I'm not kidding that like one of the number one search terms is Yahoo, which cracks me up. That people will go to go to Google and type Yahoo.
Is it because so many search engines have the
the browsers have the search bar, right?
Yeah.
So, but it works, right? So I just typed Yahoo, and that's what I got. So it works.
Well, I love that you're bringing this up because I keep running into copy that says www.
I know. They don't need to
blah,
say that.
Blah, / blah. Oh, my God. I just want to stab my
So if you
eyes
Google
out.
Twit, the problem with Googling Twit is people type Twit and they get Twitter. But if you Google Twit, you get everything about Twit. So why not, right?
Yeah.
It's only the fourth definition down that is the definition of the word twit.
What is that again?
Well, there's two definitions. To twit is to taunt, ridicule, or tease, or a pregnant goldfish. Okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a twit. I know that because about every 3 days I'll get an email saying, twit means pregnant goldfish. And then I'll go, yeah, thanks.
Oh, my God. I can't believe when people think they're telling you something for the first time and you're like, oh, yeah, I'd never heard that joke.
Well, it's worse if it's your name, right? I mean, I'm really, you know, there's just some names where you know that every time somebody meets you, like every time I meet a Roxanne, like the idiot I am, I go, Roxanne!
Well, you're just being playful.
Yeah, but God, you got to think that's pretty annoying. I did it the other day. I caught myself. I was like, oh, God, I can't believe.
Or do you just go,
You don't have to turn that red light
you don't have to
on.
put out the red light.
That's when it gets insulting.
Such a good song. Remember when the Police were cool?
Oh, I love the Police. I like Sting still.
Oh, God.
You don't like him? I gave my love a cherry.
Once they did Every Breath You Take. Whoosh, oh.
You didn't like Every Breath? You like the old. You like the old punk Sting.
Yeah, the reggae.
The punk reggae, punk Police.
They were so good. Zenyatta Mandata, what a record.
Yada Mandata, baby. Just the name is good.
Yeah.
They don't like the fact that the laptop is blocking you. It's not actually blocking you. It's just kind of like your lower third. I guess I could get it.
If I wear like a, what are those called? Tube top someday.
Oh, you would look
be
naked.
Like I'm naked.
Yeah. You know, Petaluma is the land of tube tops. Just want to encourage that. Just in case you were curious.
I'm like, it probably is. I saw some real weird outfits out there in my way in.
Trust me, I'm not making this up. Hi, Scotty.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna lower the lid.
And Scotty hates it when people say "Great Scott." Or do they?
They do. They say it a lot. They say it all the time.
Oh, you're. I was like, lower what lid? Did you forget to take care of that in the bathroom a while ago? Oh, Slanina's really laughing. They must have an issue about that.
Yes. Select Edna Mel is also saying another of the things that I get all the time, which is beam me up.
Oh, right.
Oh, Lord. That's just brain dead. At least Roxanne is some singing. There's some singing involved.
Oh, my God.
You don't have to.
Okay, I bet these people on hold would
Yeah,
really
ahead,
love
go
it if
ahead.
I asked what their question is.
Yes, nowhere, man. Thank you so much. I am feeling quite a bit better. I'm still coughing a bit.
Going down another rabbit hole.
Nathan found it.
Seems like we've lost control, but that's the way.
This is great.
I know. Isn't that good?
Yeah, this is awesome. Billboard stamps.com.
And then again, just watch your back. Or Johnny C will get us back on track. And if I feel a bit spunky, I'm just another jumping monkey. I know everything to do with it. I'm on the inside, yeah, I'm a twit. And if I miss one, I have a fit, yeah, I'm a twit. I'm a twit.
I love that song. I'm a twit. And thanks to Jeff Smith, by the way, for that I'm a Twit song, which he's a Nashville musician, very talented, does great stuff. Jeff with a G, Smith. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, and there he is, Scott Wilkinson. He's our home theater guy. So hang on, Lou, because we're going to talk about getting your laptop in a little bit. But first, time for home theater. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
What do you want to talk about today? Big screen TVs. There's so much to talk about. Surround sound.
There's
I
so
should
much.
just say, remember we talked last week about that Toshiba
Yeah,
sound
did you get
bar,
it?
$250. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds every bit as good as $99. I don't know what people are thinking. You know, it sounds not so good.
You know, I had said to you that when you and I, it has that Sonic Emotion Absolute 3D feature.
Yeah.
And when you and I heard that at CES a couple of years ago, we were both very impressed.
Yeah.
But since then, I have actually had a chance to hear a couple of soundbars, not the Toshiba, but a couple others with that technology in it, and they didn't sound that good.
No.
And so I'm
Yeah.
really sorry to hear that this is true also of the Toshiba.
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's about what you'd expect for $250.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
am going to buy when, you know, this Pioneer one when it comes out.
Pioneer.
I'm going to be a sucker.
No. You're not going to be a sucker in that case.
Okay, you've heard
In
it
that
already.
case, I've heard it already
Okay.
several times, and I am extremely impressed.
See, what I had in that system was a very, very nice pair of powered speakers by Emotiva. and a good preamp, and there was no sub, but it sounded really nice.
Sure.
And full range, and I think that I just didn't think that the Toshiba sounded that way. But I'm not a fan of soundbars. I've yet to find a soundbar that I really go, wow, that is a good choice. So
well, I really hope you try the Pioneer, and I would love to hear your opinion of it, because what everything I've heard of it, and I've heard it several times, it really is superior. He doesn't try to. Andrew Jones is the designer, and I had him on my podcast a couple of weeks ago. And he talked all about it, how he designed it, what decisions he had to make to hit a certain price point, all that kind of stuff. But he really made intelligent decisions. He's a really good speaker designer. And one of the decisions he made was he wasn't going to make it do pseudo surround or simulated surround. He was just going to make it 2.1, just a left channel and a right channel, and a wireless subwoofer, separate subwoofer, to get the really good bass. He tuned the main drivers so that they would go down low enough so that when he crossed over to the subwoofer, when the frequency got below, say 110 hertz, I think it was, it crossed over smoothly to the subwoofer. Very often in these sound bars, you cross over very high, like maybe 200 hertz or 250 hertz. Well, that's near middle C on a piano. That's very high for a subwoofer to have to try and reproduce. And therefore, the transition isn't very smooth.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things Andrew did. And I got to tell you,
it's not out yet, right? You can still pre-order it, but
you can pre-order it, but it's not out yet.
And it's going to be $400 list.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's not exactly cheap, but there are plenty of soundbars out there that are a lot more than that. You can spend $1,000, $2,000 for a soundbar.
Yeah, we did.
This is also a powered soundbar. It's meant to replace your TV's speakers.
Right.
It's not meant to be used with an AV receiver. It's for a bedroom TV or some TV.
And I
where
think that's the market. I think that's the market.
Exactly.
It's not. If you spend a little bit more, you can get a home theater in a box and get a 5.1 surround system that sounds great. But this is for the market for somebody who just wants a better sound coming out of their TV set, basically.
Yes, exactly right. And it's significantly better than the sound coming out of any TV. I'll guarantee you that. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. What do you want to talk? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack. What do you want to talk about?
Well, that's okay. Actually, I wanted to tell you I did something yesterday that I almost never do. I went to see a movie on the Friday of opening weekend. Not only that, I went and saw it twice.
Elysium?
Yes.
Well, we went to see it in IMAX last night.
Ah, what'd you think?
Well, I just wouldn't sit in the front row at an IMAX theater. That's all. I got a crick in my neck.
Is that where you were stuck?
We had the third row. Yeah, well, nowadays, at least in San Francisco, IMAX is reserved seating. So when you go online to buy a ticket, they show you where the seats are. And, of course, all the sweet spot, the middle seats are all taken. So the best we could do was close to center, but third row. And it wasn't horrible, but it's big.
Yeah,
Matt Damon is huge. So did you like the movie?
As a movie, it was okay. I thought the premise was pretty good. It's certainly timely. The growing divide between the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the not so rich. And the visuals I thought were stunning. Yeah. Beautiful.
I love that director. His last one, District 9, was an amazing movie.
District 9 was very good. Yeah, yeah. I thought this one fell down a bit in terms of the movie itself. The first half was very interesting. The second half kind of just became a shoot-'em-up.
You went to see it twice, Scott. Why is that?
I did. Not because of the movie, but because I wanted to compare two different new sound systems. One is Dolby Atmos, which we've talked about before, and the other is from this company called Barco, which actually makes digital cinema projectors, but they've gotten into the sound business as well. So they've made a sound system called Barco Auro, A-U-R-O, 11.1. And what they do is they put 2 rows of side surround speakers and then some speakers on the ceiling in clusters that give you kind of an overhead sound coming. They're trying to create a 3D sound space. Yeah. Similar to Dolby Atmos. But I have to tell you, and I went to see both of them because I wanted to compare them. I'd never heard Barco Oro before. And so I really wanted to compare them. And I have to say, Dolby Atmos cleaned Barco's clock.
Huh.
It really did. The Barco Oro.
You're the only guy I know who'd see a movie twice to compare the sound systems.
Yeah.
But thank goodness you
say?
do. Thank goodness
I'm a
you
geek.
do. Yeah.
That means you don't have to.
Yeah.
No, and it was Friday, the opening weekend, you know,
Right.
as you went and saw too. And fortunately, the Atmos Theater did have reserved seating as well. So I was able to I logged in soon enough to get a pretty good seat in the middle of the sweet spot area. The Barco Theater, I went at 1 in the afternoon, and I called the theater, and I said, so is there going to be a line for this? They said, nah, not on a Friday. Everyone's still at work. So, and they were right. I was able to get a great seat. So the Barco sound system did kind of extend upward a little bit, but it didn't really surround me in sound in a truly hemispherical sound field, which the Dolby Atmos did.
Barco, as we mentioned before, the Atmos has speakers over your head.
Yes, well, so does the Barco.
The Barco does too. All right.
Yes, but they're in these little clusters in the corners of the ceiling, which I thought was really weird. The Dolby Atmos system, there's 2 rows of speakers that just extend from the front of the theater to the back. And the Barco system, there are these little sort of clusters in the corners. So it doesn't really extend over your head terribly. It kind of raises the wall of sound, if you will, up towards the ceiling. But it doesn't, you know, with as you saw this movie, there's shooting and bullets flying around.
It's an action flick, yeah.
It's an action flick, you know, and the bullets flying around in Dolby Atmos, man, you tend to duck because you really feel them coming across and over your head. Right. And when those airships come overhead, it's very cool.
So if you have the choice, Atmos. Scott
Yep.
Wilkinson, avsforum.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls right after this. All right, Scotty. I'll give you the floor some more.
If you're running a small business, you can't operate at anything less than full speed.
Yale Man 2011 asks, doesn't every theater have ceiling speakers? No. Most theaters do not. Most theaters only have speakers, 1 row of speakers on the side wall and a row of speakers on the back wall. And they're doing either 5.1 or 7.1. Dolby Atmos Theater has speakers truly on the ceiling. I mean, they're in 2, like I said, 2 rows above you. Barco Oro has speakers in these little clusters in the corners of the ceiling. So Dr. Mom makes a great point. I always like Wall-E as a post-apocalyptic movie. The LA Times review of Elysium sort of called it kind of a Wall-E like movie. But instead of the entire Earth's population living off the planet, it's only the super rich living off the planet, and everybody else is left in the squalor of the destroyed Earth. Anyway, it was, as a movie, it was okay. It was an action flick. One thing I didn't mention on the air, which I thought was really cool, was that it was not too loud. I took my sound meter and I measured the levels, and both Barco Oro and Dolby Atmos, the average for the entire movie plus trailers was under 80 decibels. So I was grateful for that. I didn't have to put in my earplugs. And I wouldn't have anyway because I really wanted to hear what was going on in these 2 sound systems. I would have just stuck my fingers in my ears for the loud parts. And I didn't have to do that. And the Barco Oro was a little bit louder, and I did have to stick my fingers in my ears a couple times. But for the most part, I didn't even have to. And that was amazing. I don't think I've ever done that. Let's see. Mick says, you are very dedicated to your profession. Last time I went to a movie house was to see Love Story when it first came out. Yeah, going out to the movies can be a challenge. I still like to do it. A lot of home theater geeks like me don't do it at all. They say, I'm going to wait for the Blu-ray, and, you know, I don't want to deal with the sticky floors and the kid kicking the back of my seat and somebody else texting over here. And yes, occasionally those can be distracting. But I still like going out to the movies. It's a much bigger picture than I can get at home. I can get Dolby Atmos, which I can't get at home. There's no Dolby Atmos system available for home use. So, and there's something about the communal experience. that I find appealing. Some people don't, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat, as it were. But I find some value in experiencing this movie, this event, in a crowd with a bunch of other people. So that is my take on that. Web4148 is asking, what's my opinion on the Vizio 70-inch E70 Li A3? 2 USB ports. Is USB 3 important in a TV? No, I don't think so. The Vizio A3 series is very well reviewed. It's an extremely good value. I would say it's actually a positive. So if that's something you're looking at, certainly you're not going to get a 70-inch any less expensive than that. And it's a surprisingly good performer. So I would say no problem there. Yeah, texting in the movies. Sticky floors. Yeah, I guess they're maybe a little cleaner these days than I used to think. That's maybe a bit of a stereotype. I think we're probably about ready to... Oh, probably here we go.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Thanks to Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru. He joins us every Monday to do the Home Theater Geeks podcast at twit.tv. You can tune in 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and learn all about home theater. Actually, he did a great one, or will do a great one. I think he pre-recorded it this coming Monday. He and Robert Heron, another home theater guru, answered questions for an hour. Huh? That's Monday after next. Okay, not this Monday. All right. Back to the phones. In fact, I hope Lou is still there. Are you still there, Lou?
Oh, you bet I am.
Patient man. So you're using a netbook right now, which is really not, as you pointed out, the fastest, bestest. In fact, the netbooks really...
the size, because it fits my space.
Yeah, that was the appeal of the netbooks. But they, in many ways, I think, disappointed because in order to get the price down, and the early netbooks were under $300, in some cases $250, they had to kind of compromise on components as well as on processors. So it's a slow processor, which makes it a slow computer, but also, you know, kind of cheap plastic trackpads, things like that.
Yeah, I don't care about the price. I can go for whatever I need, probably. I just want it to be powerful and hopefully small.
Yeah, the size is what you care about. And you said primarily, you said editing audio. What are you doing?
I'm doing a little bit of video editing.
Video, okay.
Yeah, it's related to my website. Also pictures. And just the normal stuff that most people do, surfing the net and writing. And do you care about Windows or Mac? Do you have a strong feeling one way or the other? Not real strong, although I've always been a Windows. Personally, I've never had a Mac. But so you'll be getting Windows 8, and that's, you know, some people aren't crazy about Windows 8. I think Windows 8 is fine, and I think especially when Microsoft updates it, which they're going to do in the next month or so, to Windows 8.1. You'll find it's pretty usable. It's changed your tune a little bit, huh? Well, no, you know, only per force because it's the current version of Windows. Yeah, and so I don't. It's hard for me to recommend somebody buy a 5-year-old version of Windows. You know, it's sure. If you can make it look like Windows 7, which you can easily do with free or inexpensive utilities, it's better in other respects. It's faster. The file copy was very broken on Windows until Windows 8, things like that. So I would suggest you look at the category called Ultrabook. This is Intel created this concept really in response to Apple's MacBook Air. The Air defined it. These were unibody, aluminum, very thin. They didn't have optical drives. It's one of the ways they could get thin. No CD or DVD ROM drive. But they're very portable, and they're better quality, frankly, than a netbook. I think that was part of what Intel was doing. The netbook, I think, severely damaged the PC industry. PC sales have been off dramatically. Some say, oh, it's Windows 8. I don't know if it's Windows 8. I think the expectations for the cost of a computer dropped so low that people couldn't get good computers, and they've really been unhappy with them. So I would look at the Ultrabooks. I have an Acer S7. I think that's a fantastic
Very thin, very light Windows 8 machine, the S7.
They don't have a spinning drive because I would like quite a bit of capacity, like maybe.
I would say what you should do in that case is get an external spinning drive. Only because it's so, you will see once you start using a solid state, non-spinning flash drive, how much faster it is. It makes such a difference. The Windows boots within seconds. Applications launch instantly. You're able to do your work much faster. And then if it's okay to have an external drive, you can get some compact external drives that you can carry around with you. And then you have an advantage there because you can have multiple ones, so you can do backups and so forth.
Yeah, just double the things I have to carry, though.
Well, yeah, so portability is really important to you.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, then you're going to get, some Ultrabooks do have spinning drives. You're going to have to look, not the S7, but you're going to have to look at a spinning drive Ultrabook. And, certainly they exist. They're not quite as fast. They're a little heavier. Battery life's a little worse, all because of the spinning drive. But
now, what about a compromise in a hybrid drive?
No, I don't like the hybrids. They're disappointing. They're kind of the worst of both worlds.
Oh, my.
Yeah. You can get, and some companies do this, and I think Apple does this with their desktops, you can get a dual drive system where it has the Windows and the apps would be on a SSD and their data would be on a spinning drive. You might be able to find those, and those actually really are good. Don't get a hybrid drive that's a single drive with flash in it as well as spinning.
Yeah.
Get a dual drive, and yeah, you can get those. Since you say price is not important, those are all things you can find at any price. And I like Lenovo's excellent. You might look at the Yoga because it's convertible. If you're getting Windows 8, Touch is nice, and I think really helps Windows 8. And by the way, with video editing, Touch would be better. Let me think what else. Bigger screens better. Faster processor, perhaps. You're doing heavy-duty stuff if you can afford an i7. Generally, I don't recommend an i7, except for people doing heavy work, but you are. So all of those things. And since it's portable, you don't have to worry about an external drive. But if you do spend a lot of time at home at the desk, an external external monitor would make a big difference as well. Always easier to work with a big screen than a small screen. Mark, Norfolk, Virginia, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm a faithful listener. I've been listening to your show probably about a year now, and I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. I think you're great.
Well, what can I do for you?
Yes, sir. Well, I have slow 3G data service with Sprint. I have an iPhone 5, and we just, I guess they just launched LTE in my area, so where available, I do pick up LTE. But
how's your LTE? Is it pretty fast?
It's pretty fast when I do get it, but the problem is, I guess I'm on the fringe of LTE service, and I get 3G, LTE, 3G.
Yeah, and that spoils you because once you get used to LTE and you go back, you drop down to 3G. It's kind of depressing. Sprint's LTE isn't widely deployed, so you're going to get 3G in many cases. You're lucky, in fact, to be getting LTE on Sprint.
LTE, yeah. And when I do,
there's not much you can do to speed it up. Your speed on your 3G is not dependent on what you're doing. It's more dependent on what Sprint has done and how many people are using it. So, as you know, you're getting to a cell site for your data, right? Just as you are for the phone.
Yes, sir.
It's how much their backhaul, that is the connection to the cell site, how much data it's carrying, and how many people. And I think in Nova, you probably got quite a few people who are using that cell. And so you're splitting maybe a megabit and a half or 2 megabits among 1,000 people. It's going to be slow.
It is. It really is.
And it's going to be faster when you go somewhere else, right? I mean, as you move around, the speeds vary.
Well, I have an iPad also, and I use AT&T service with it. It's an original iPad.
How is that? Is it better?
It is fast. That 3G service is fast.
Yeah, and it's not. Partly it's Sprint, but partly it's how many people are using it. Yeah, then that might be a case to say the next phone should be when you get that new iPhone, should be AT&T. I use T-Mobile, and because I'm one of the only people who use it in the area, I get great 3G speeds, LTE quality 3G speeds. But see, that's why it's dependent on how many people are using it and how much data they put out to the cell site. So you're kind of stuck. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, sir. You know, I've looked. Angles. Hey, you know what? You know what I want to talk about right now, just before we go into the break here, is BespokePost.com. Do you know about Bespoke? I get my box of awesome. I love my box of awesome. Each and every month. This is a great gift for the guy in your life. They're curated gift packages is what they are. So I'll show you some of the boxes. I just got my barbecue box, which I love. So these are the new ones. There's the Hemingway. I love this. You get, what do you get? You get a pocket knife with an oak handle from Opinel, sport fountain pen from Kaweco, a Godwin cold pressed steel bottle opener. I love it's so manly. Soft note. This is so cool. So you can see what these are. These boxes are $45 each. There's always more than $45 worth of great stuff in there. You can, you know, it's just like the Book of the Month Club. You can see what your next box is going to be and say, no, I want the other one instead, or let's skip this month. A wonderful gift. I love that. Look at this. Wow. Wooden poker box, poker chips, 2 decks of cards. Yeah, these are so much fun. So here's the deal. If you go to bespokepost.com/twit, we can get you a little bit off. We'll get you at 20% off your first box. That was like $9. That's a good deal, right? A great gift. I love it. A great gift to get for somebody in some person in your family, for dad, for grad. I love it. You know, I'm going to get this. I know. I just thought I would do. I'd get this for Henry. He's going off to college. Have manly stuff in the mail every month. BespokePost.com/twit. Get 20% off the first month of your subscription. BespokePost.com/twit. Dee-dee-dee-dee-ding. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, yeah. Seared. This is a different one than the one I got. Aces. Hemingway. Stirred. I wish I'd gotten that one. So, yeah, if you go there and you say, oh, you know, I don't want a barbecue one. I want the Hemingway, or I want this, you know, you could change it like that. So cool. "50 card tricks to learn before you start dating." That's good. On the Moto X, you can launch apps. You can do, you know what? If you've ever used Google Now, you do exactly the same thing. The only difference in the Moto X is you don't have to touch it. Now, this is kind of cool, and I don't know if people have focused on this too much, but I am in range of a trusted Bluetooth, which is my desktop here. When I'm in my car, same thing. So when you set up Bluetooth, you can say, hey, trust this. So it says you're unlocked. You're connected to a trusted device. So you can keep the phone locked, but when you get in the car, when you get next to your computer at home, the same thing. It's unlocked. And so then you can say, okay, Google Now, launch Path. Oops. That's what I said. Now, see, this is the negative, I got to tell you, on voice recognition. Okay, Google Now, open Path. I think I got the ph. Nope. See, so much for that. I should have opened something else. Okay, Google Now, open Carbon. Now it's going to do it. Yeah. So it's opening the app. So it can do anything. If you've ever used Google Now, it'll do anything that the voice control Google Now will do on any other phone. The only difference is you don't have to touch it. So I can say, okay, Google Now, play Tom Waits.
Playing request.
Or I can say, okay, Google Now, tell Henry I've got your iPhone here. Let's see if it shows his number. Yeah, it does. But so then I can send him the text message. It doesn't do that automatically, which is probably good in case you get the wrong person. Google Now is better than any of the other choices on Android. Far better. Okay, Google now. What's the weather?
It's 71 degrees and overcast in Petaluma.
Okay, Google now. How did the Giants do last night? It's similar to Siri. Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, Google now. How did the Giants do last night? It's not hearing me. So that's the problem with all voice recognition, and it's no better than that. The hands-free is nice. In the car, it's great. Also, with the Motorola Assist, I'm not trying to sell you this phone. I'm giving you the features. It can say, while you're driving, and it knows that from your speed, I guess, read text messages and let me know who's calling. The music starts playing automatically. These are checkboxes. Read text message, and then you can also say, if somebody calls and don't answer, just send them a text message. I'm busy. So all of that stuff it does. Yeah, I don't know why it's not hearing me. It would do that just fine. Okay, Google now. How did the Giants do last night? It's not hearing me. Something wrong with it. Hello? Yeah, you know what? It's broken. Okay, Google now. What's the weather like? You see, it's not getting any input, so there's something broken. I suppose if I reboot it. Oh, wait a minute, it did do it. Okay, Google now. Is it going to rain this week? That's so weird. Is it going to rain this week? No, she's not listening now. I think it's broken. I broke it. I'm not talking to it right? Okay, Google now. Is it going to rain this week? It's hearing okay, Google now. It's not getting anything else. It's just... my phones suck. There is yet to be a perfect phone. Taking a Shabbos nap. No, you don't. You can ask right away. You say, okay, Google, now play Tom Waits. And it will go right through the whole thing. You know, maybe that's not why it's working, because it still thinks it's playing music. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones and camcorders, home theater, digital devices and doohickeys, G-jaws and gadgets of any kind. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Moving along to Rick in Bayonne. In Indiana? New Jersey. Bayonne, New Jersey. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I actually have a Panasonic AG-DVX 100 camcorder.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering, is there a connection that I can use to use it as like a webcam for live streaming?
I don't know about that one specifically, and here's what you would have to find out. Okay. A great many camcorders, most modern camcorders, yours has HDMI out of it? Does it?
Out of the camcorder?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. It's an older model. It has XLR connections.
Yeah. XLR for microphones.
Yes.
Okay. What does it have for output?
You know, that's a very good question.
So here's the deal. More modern cameras that have HDMI, some, but not all of them, have live HDMI. Yours may have live component out or even composite out. That's what you need for it to work as a webcam. And you know what? Almost always you can get a camcorder to work as a webcam, but it has to have basically pass whatever's coming into the camera out the back. Not recording, but out the back. Okay. If it does that, then you will be able to hook it up to some sort of input device. It's easier with HDMI because then you can often get into a computer simply. You may, if it's not HDMI, if it's composite or component, you might have to get a video capture card so that it can go into the computer. And then the other thing that you'll have to do is it will time out. All camcorders after a while just stop, you know, oh, I guess you're not recording anything, and turn themselves off. So you'll have to turn off that timeout feature. And I find in many of these, I have to pop, if it has a cassette, pop the cassette, and then it'll just stay there. If you have you have FireWire out and FireWire in on your computer, that should work. I've done this before. You do? Okay.
Yes, I have a Mac Pro, 8-core, you know, older model.
That's probably the thing to do. And you can, if the camcorder has FireWire, then you're in pretty good shape. Almost always the FireWire was live.
Okay, so I would.
Easy way to tell this. Easy way to tell this. Plug in the FireWire cable, open iMovie, and see if you can see live video from the camcorder.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way to.
And if you can, then you know, oh, I'm golden. Now all you need to do is launch Skype.
Great.
In fact, in general, you're going to get better results doing that. We, for years, recommended people do that instead of buying the cheap USB cameras from Logitech and others, because it's a camcorder. I mean, you're going to have better lenses, better quality.
And that's what I'm looking for, better quality.
Yeah. Yeah, nowadays, I have to say, the USB cameras have gotten so good. The Logitech C910, 920s, they're very, very good. But since you got the camcorder, I would absolutely try it.
Well, you've answered both my questions. I was wondering if I needed an additional device.
As long as you got FireWire out and in, you're good.
Great.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right, Nick, take care. That wasn't Nick. This is Nick in Chicago, Illinois. Hi, Nick. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I just had a question about I'm going to school in the fall, and my school, they strongly recommend Windows, mostly for the use of Microsoft Access. And I was wondering which would be better, to buy a designated Windows 8 laptop, or if I could buy a Mac, because I like the Mac hardware. I was wondering if it would be like not good in any way to buy a Mac and run a Windows emulation software with Windows 7.
Yeah.
Or Windows 8, I guess,
if you like a Mac and you prefer a Mac, Macs make excellent Windows machines of all things. You could do it in emulation, as you understand already, using Parallels, VMware Fusion, or even OneBox. But if you need more performance, and sometimes you do, you can also use the built-in capability Apple offers to make it a dual boot machine, so you can run Windows or Macintosh. You decide at boot up. Whether you want to be Windows or Macintosh. It's called Boot Camp. And there's a Boot Camp assistant on all Macintoshes. It'll divide. It's good to do it when you first get it because it'll divide the drive up. You give Windows 20 gigs maybe. You do need to have a Windows 7 disk. You have to buy that separately, or Windows 8 or whatever version of Windows you want to use. And it's pretty straightforward. I actually recommend that for a lot of people who are Mac fans but still are required to use Windows.
Okay.
You might also check with the school, see if they offer a deal. They often do, especially for Macs, have discounts.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, you're very welcome. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a very common way to run Windows for people who don't want to buy a Windows machine. Apples are essentially Windows machines. They're Intel chips. They're using stock hardware all around. It's pretty much like a Windows machine. You just have to have the Windows operating system and a way to run it. Cody in Irvine, California. Hey, Cody.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm really excited to be on the show.
You're famous now.
Everybody in my family likes listening to the show.
Well, you're the world famous Cody. Hi, Cody. What can I do for you?
Well, I am going to try to get a...
Don't tell me you're going to college in the fall.
I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
I want to have a laptop for doing my schoolwork and gaming.
Of course. How do the folks feel about the gaming part?
Are
they okay with that?
Yeah, everybody. I just want to get a laptop that's going to be fast.
Yeah, and don't mention the gaming. Okay, my little hint. Don't mention the gaming. I just need fast, Pops. Is the game Minecraft? What game?
It's Minecraft. How did you know that?
Well, you sound like a guy who likes to work in 8-bit. I don't know why. You just sound like that kind of a Minecrafter. So here's the good news about Minecraft. It doesn't need a super fast machine.
Yeah, okay.
So any laptop will work great with Minecraft.
And I also have, like, Spelling City is one of the things that I do.
What grade are you in?
Huh?
What grade are you in?
I am going into 4th, and I was in 3rd.
Oh, wow, Cody. This is exciting. Is this your first computer that's all yours?
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes, I've just been running off of a Mac downstairs that our family shares. And every time I get on there, my sister's playing a little, like, princess dress-up game.
I know, and you shouldn't have to see that. That burns the eyes.
Yeah.
So you need to play. Is that Spell City game a Windows game? It sounds like it might be.
I've played on both of my computers.
Oh, so it does play on. It does work on the Mac.
It works on the Mac and the Windows. I've played on.
Okay.
I've done it at my school before, where they have Windows and they also have Macs.
They have Macs at your school? Okay, so your school, sometimes the school will say, well, we're going to use all this software, and they don't ever have any Macs, so they just assume everybody in the world has Windows, and that would leave you. It sounds like since you have a Mac at home, you should get a Mac. Now, they're not cheap. The one I would recommend, the 11-inch MacBook Air, is $999.
That's the one I was aiming for. That's the one I've been trying to get. I've been working with my dad. $10 an hour for the whole summer.
Wow.
Because there's also a teacher's.
He pays you $10 an hour?
Yeah.
Your dad's good. That's more than minimum wage.
Yes. Oh, no, it's $20 an hour. It's $20.
Now that's just charity now. So I do the same with my kids. It's good. It teaches you to work, but you're kind of helping them out. So good. How much have you saved up, Cody?
I'm at $800.
Oh, that's great.
Mainly what I do is I keep the kids out of the mom's or the dad's faces so that my dad can always be with them.
That's awesome. Hey, here's the deal, Cody. Yeah, you can get an educational discount. It's 10% off. You get it. You qualify because you're a student. And that gets you almost to where you need to be. And that's definitely, for you, it's definitely what I would get. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Or look at Refurbs. They're good, too. I get $20 an hour for keeping the kids out of my mom and dad's hair. My sister plays that darn Princess game.
Computers, but you know sometimes
I hate the Princess game.
Much.
So annoying.
Right?
Oh, I had you turned down. I'm sorry.
That's
I'll
okay.
turn you back up. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't turn you down. That's
I
old.
had nothing to add.
Force of habit. You like the kids, though. I love it.
Oh, I love them. I just can't believe how smart they are. They're just so great.
Third grader. Yeah, I've been using a Mac, but I could use Windows. I just need to use Boot Camp, and then I can install Windows. I don't know. You like Windows 8? I'm kind of a fan of Windows 7. I just feel
to come over to my friend's house.
I know,
and teach
really.
me how to use the coffee
I just
maker.
feel that the TCP stack on Windows 8 is just not as robust. So, I really want to get. Well, I was thinking maybe if in emulation I run Windows 7, but I could have Windows 8 in emulation. I could run one box. I don't want to really buy VMware Fusion. I hear that the 3D graphics support is poor. When I was in 4th grade, it was like, here's a rock.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I'm gonna
throw it at that girl over there.
throw it at that girl. See what happens. I don't understand. You know, I was thinking of running Linux, but I really couldn't decide which distribution. Because while I'm a fan of Ubuntu, I just feel that the Unity desktop is just not really all it should be. I'm really looking for something more lightweight. And then, if the rock comes back, I'm going to name it Boomerang. That's not typing, that's right. What the Truman Capote line. That's not writing, that's typing. We need Russian ransomware and really good. Yeah. You don't even have to get call. I just mention word. I had the email from Indian guy. He says, I don't mind when you do Indian voice. It's funny. But don't make fun of Indian as tech support, because we know what we're doing. I know. Are you kidding? That's why we're trying to get the H-1B visas extended so we can keep some of the highly educated people from China and India and Russia who've been going to our grad schools here from leaving. Or not even just leaving, being thrown out. My Simpsons game is still broken. In fact, if you go to my Simpsons game on somebody else's computer, ProXPN doesn't work on chat? No, I don't know that. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you why, because we block proxies. That's not ProXPN's fault. That's our fault. And the reason we block proxies is because we have lots of little script kiddies trying to hack into us through proxies. So you have to use your real IP address, or we won't let you come in here and spam us. No, why would we no, it'd be the same problem. Well, and that's the argument against H-1B visas, right? That's exactly the argument against it, is they take American jobs. You can spam me if you use a real IP address, but then we can block you permanently. Many of my voices are offensive, especially if you talk like this. I love the HTC One. Highly recommend it. I'd get the Google Play edition. I've come around on that one, and I'll explain why someday, but not now. So I was thinking of buying a Windows 8 machine, but then if I bought a Mac and I could use emulation, then in 4th grade I could do both Windows and Mac. I love these kids. It makes Heather and I just feel inadequate in every respect. A 4th grader, incoming 4th grader. Well, good luck, Cody, and thank you for the call. It is really great to hear kids. I think people sometimes say to me, Leo, when should a kid have his own computer or her own computer? And truthfully, if you have a family computer in a public place, that's probably fine for quite some time, if not all the way through high school. But if you're so disposed to give a kid a computer, what I would generally suggest is not a laptop, but a desktop, again, in a public space. So you can just kind of, no kid's going to do bad stuff on a computer, or accidentally even, if it's, in the living room. So that's a good idea to keep it there. But I think 4th grade's about right. 4th grade is when school gets a little harder. You start doing reports. You start actually doing research. And it's not too early, I think, for a kid to start to learn how to use the internet. What I would recommend mom and dad is put a block on the network so that they can't, not so much at that age, I don't think they're going out and looking for bad stuff, but they might accidentally stumble upon it. And so what I recommend, and I do use, and were used when my kids were that young, is a company called OpenDNS. And this is free and very easy to set up. What OpenDNS does is you replace the directory lookup system that your internet service provider offers with OpenDNSs. You do it for free. A lot of schools use this. A lot of businesses use it. And you do it, you can get the VIP for $20 a year, but the free is fine. And what you do with it is you change not the individual computers, although you can, but better to change the router, the central spot, and password protect the router, and then the kid can't really get around it. And if they're using your internet access, they can't get to sites you don't want them to get to. And that's not just, by the way, adult sites. It could be gambling. It could be violence. It could be a lot of things that you don't want a 4th grader to see. It's very easy to set up. They also have anti-phishing stuff. Mom and dad might appreciate that, and anti-fraud stuff. And frankly, there's no disadvantage to it. In fact, it might even improve your internet performance. I still use OpenDNS on almost all my routers just because it's faster, typically, than the domain name system. That's what DNS stands for, that your internet service provider gives you. It's often faster. So I think it's nice to get kids used to using the internet, get them online, do it in public places so that, they can't get into too much trouble, can't start chatting with strangers or whatever it is people worry about nowadays. And then finally, my suggestion would be to put this open DNS on the router, or at the very least on that computer, and keep the kids away from accidental discoveries. Howard in the chat room says, and put a piece of tape, masking tape over the camera on the computer. I guess. I'm not too worried about that. Pat in Tampa, Florida, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Pat.
Hi, how are you, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good.
What can I do for you?
I have a question. I've got an HTC Thunderbolt, which is about 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And I need to replace it. And I'm kind of looking at the Samsung Galaxy S4, and then there's a new Motorola coming out.
Yeah. Oh, who's your carrier?
Verizon.
The Galaxy S4, I've had the Galaxy S4 for some time. I actually buy all of the kind of big name phones just so I can try them out and give you an opinion. I'm not a big fan of the Galaxy S4. Not that there's anything wrong with it. And it is probably at this point the best-selling smartphone by far. Outsells the iPhone, outsells everything else. It's a little, if you go feel it, it's a little plasticky. That's not necessarily so bad, but aesthetically it's not perfect. It is very junked up with Samsung stuff, so much so that there's not a lot of free memory in it. The 16-gigabyte version barely has 6 gigabytes free for you, which is not very much. Most of that's taken up by stuff that you're never going to use that Samsung jams on that phone. Things like it watches your eyeballs, and you look up and it scrolls up. You look down and it scrolls down. That seems kind of neat. In theory, in practice, it's useless. But you can't get rid of it. It's built in, right? So, and it takes up space. So you could turn it off, but it still takes up space. So I'm less crazy about the Samsung Galaxy S4. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If you go in there, you like its look and feel, it's fine. It's certainly a big upgrade from the Thunderbolt. Much better screen, much faster. It's kind of big. It's 5 inches. I think for most normal people, the Motorola X is going to be the phone. It's smaller. It feels better in the hand. They've touted a lot of this features like you can talk to it and stuff. I think those are kind of not that great. There's one feature that I use a lot though. You launch and it's silly and you may not use it, but you launch the camera by twisting your wrist a couple of times, and then the camera launches, and then you take a picture by tapping the screen. It's the fastest way to launch a camera I've ever used, and I just think it's really great. You tap the screen and you take a picture. So it also has some other nice features. Now, it will not be customizable on Verizon. It's only going to be black and white at Verizon. AT&T has the exclusivity on that in the first few months. We don't know when Verizon's going to get it, but I would almost bet you it'll be exactly 2 weeks from yesterday. August 23rd is my guess. Sometime this month. It will be $200, but so is the GS4. Verizon's also getting the HTC One, which is actually one of my favorite phones. It's beautiful. It also has a lot of HTC stuff on it, some of which is good. Not as bad as the Galaxy S4. I think the phone is such a personal thing. It can't really tell you exactly what's right for you. It's probably a good idea to try them. I really like the Motorola X. I would take a look at the Motorola X. I think for most people, that's just the right size and feel. It's just a nice phone. But have you played with the Galaxy S4 at all?
No, not yet. My biggest problem with the Galaxy S4 is it does not sync to Outlook.
Yeah, but all Android phones have that problem.
So I guess I should hang out and wait for the HTC.
It's going to have the same problem. All Android phones have that problem.
But I don't have the problem. I have an HTC now, and I don't have the problem.
Yeah, because you're kind of grandfathered in. But, yeah, syncing with Outlook, Do you use any software on Outlook to sync to Google? Because what the real trick is to get it to Google, the Google Calendar and the Google address book. Once you've done that, it'll work fine. So there is software you can put on your computer, on your PC, to sync that up. That's a bigger issue. Windows Phone's the only one that really does that right. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. iPhone doesn't do it either. Google stopped supporting Exchange. The EAS support is gone. Apparently, if you were doing EAS, it will continue to do it. I don't know for how much longer. Well, so I have an AT&T HTC One, but I rooted it and unlocked it. And I've been running, I wanted to run 4.3, and the only way to run 4.3 is the Google Edition. The only thing that's really of importance that you give up on a Google Edition HTC One is the camera app, which includes Zoe's and highlights, which I really like, but it's not the end of the world. And I gotta say, as Google has improved Android, I am more and more enamored of the pure Android experience versus the junked up carrier experience. And that's one of the reasons I very much like the Moto X. It's as bad as simple, as close to a Google experience phone as you can get. She doesn't mean Outlook.com. She means Outlook. She uses Outlook on a desktop. Outlook.com is not a problem. You just get it like any other email. It did not improve the battery life. The HTC One battery life is awful. You have to take extreme. You have to root it, and you have to put Greenify or something similar on it. And then you get decent battery life. Nothing's got good. The Moto X has good battery life. The Moto X has 16 hours. Less than $485, and you have to get a Nexus 4. It's the only choice at that price point. This is the Nexus 4. It's funny how similar. One of the reasons I bought it is I wanted to compare it. Let's get the soup out of the shot. I wanted to compare it to the Moto X. It's a little bit bigger. Similar screen resolution. It's actually similar in a lot of ways to the... Now, this has a different launcher on it. But if I put the regular launcher on it, you'd see they're really, in many ways, very close. The one bad thing about the Nexus 4 is it has a glass back. There's no reason for that, but that was kind of silly. This is a much more robust plastic back. It's a little lighter and feels better in the hand, even though it's the same size screen. Very close to the same size resolution. I think the Moto X... Hi, this is Leo. I hung up again. Anybody wants to call that person back, it's 706-705-8888. Just so you can let them know Leo's on the air right now. No, that's the wrong number. I gave you the wrong number. Don't call that number. It's like, yeah, literally, I gave you the wrong number. Don't call it. I like the Moto X. I think that's the one to get. Now, the one thing I like about the Nexus is I have these wireless chargers now everywhere. These are from Anker. And I'm a big fan. I got the Nexus 7. I like the wireless. It's called Qi charging. I like the wireless charging. You just put it on here, and it charges, which I like. So it's very, it's just convenient. You just plop it on there. Let it charge. If the thing doesn't fall out, plug it into this. Well, Johnny Jet setter extraordinaire. Hey, Johnny.
How are you, Leo?
I'm well. Let me guess. Where are you? You're home.
Check out my new headset.
Oh, did we get you that one, or did you buy it?
Oh, you guys sent me that and a webcam, but I haven't hooked up the webcam.
You sound good, though. You see how much better? It's much nicer it is having a headset and not having to hold it on.
I know, but I don't know if these are going to work for travel. They're a little bulky.
I was going to send you some fold-up ones too.
Well, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving tomorrow for a month, so.
Wow, where are you going?
Secret. You know I can't tell you where I'm going.
Oh, man. So I got a question for you.
All right.
I know you probably have something you want to talk about.
That's fine. Let's hear what you got to say.
So, as you know, we're going on our kind of big yearly blowout trip next month. We're going to go on a seaborne cruise around the Adriatic. We start in Venice. And I ended up booking all the excursions. Seabourn has some nice excursions. So every day we're going on an excursion. But we have 3 days free in Venice.
Beautiful.
So I thought I would like to try a private tour. And I'd heard about this website. I'm wondering if you ever heard of toursbylocals.com.
No, I'm not familiar with them. I think I heard of them, but I've never done a story on them.
Well, good. I will report you back to you, because the idea is they're kind of like an exchange where people who know something about, say, Venice, go there and they test them and stuff and they comply. They're not necessarily licensed tour guides, licensed by the city of Venice. They're often students, experts in art or architecture. In this case, we're going to do a photographic tour of Venice. The woman who is, and you can read the reviews, and by the way, that's very helpful because you can see what people thought. And the woman who's doing the tour is a professional photographer, and so she's going to take us 4 hours around Venice. She's going to, helps you with photography. She takes you to places that are beautiful for photographing. I told her we want to do people pictures as much as sites and so forth. And it's not cheap. I think it's $400.
How much?
It's about $400 for the day.
I don't know. I can get you a better one.
Okay, so there you go. There's the thumbnail review from Johnny. I don't know. I can get you a better one.
Whenever I go to Venice, I've met a couple online.
But see, you know somebody.
Well, her husband drives one of the boats. He's a licensed taxi operator. They pick you up in a private, beautiful boat.
Send me that information, because I have another day and we want to go out to Murano and watch the glass blowers.
Yeah, and that's where they take you there. I've been there a couple times with them.
Well, the reason I didn't do that is because it was so expensive.
I know. But these guys will pick you up at the airport. It's
all right.
so easy.
All right. Hook me up with your friends. So if you don't have friends, I'm just wondering. I'll get back to you. The reviews are very positive. I know a number of people.
I would like to hear about them.
Yeah. But you're right. It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
It wasn't cheap. If it was cheap, I'd say go for it.
Right.
What can you lose? But if it's not cheap.
Well, that's why you need somebody like Johnny Jett to help you.
Well, that's why I'm here. So last week, I didn't tell you where I was going. I went to San Diego.
Oh, I like San Diego. Where'd you stay?
I stayed at a couple places. A Hard Rock.
Oh, fun.
Hotel, which fun. On a weekend is like, I felt like I was in Las Vegas or South Beach in between.
Right.
And both
party
together.
It's party.
It was unbelievable. But, I mean, if you want to party, that's the place to go. If you're a business traveler, that's not so much.
No.
But then I stayed at the U.S. Grant, which is a Starwood property. I'm one of the Starwood bloggers. And
I'm kind of fond of Starwoods.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're real nice. And I just stayed at the W Westwood this week too, part of the deal. But anyway,
have you ever stayed at the Corona?
No. Corona Del Mar?
Yeah, that's the old beautiful hotel.
Yeah, I've never. It's haunted.
That's supposed to be haunted. They have ghost tours.
I know. I want to go.
I stayed there. Lisa and I went there a couple of years ago, and quite enjoyed it. Beautiful
anyway,
hotel.
I was at this conference. It's called GBTA. It's monster, 7,000 people, and the airlines just roll out the red carpet. They flew a 777 in just for these buyers. All these guys who do all the travel buying, and that's where the airlines make their money. 80% of the money is by these 20% of travelers, these business travelers. Anyway, so they had
Wait a minute, say that again. 80% of the money airlines make is by the 20% who travel all the time for business.
Business travelers, most
Holy
airlines.
cow.
So that's what they really care about, are these business travelers who are just walk up and buy these business class tickets.
Yeah, because they don't care because the boss is paying.
They're not worried about me, and you are paying. Well, I don't know about you, but me.
And now I understand why airplane tickets are so expensive if you don't travel on a Saturday.
Exactly.
If you travel over a Saturday, it's a lot cheaper.
They changed it.
Oh, did they?
It used to be that way for sure, but they changed it. Oh. Look, but anyway.
They want to make more from the non-business travelers.
They had huge speakers. They had Laura Bush. They had Hillary Clinton, which actually was a big disappointment because I was there as a press, and they wouldn't let me go in to see Hillary Clinton, which I think must have been because of her. She must have said, I don't want any press there.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, Laura Bush, I got to see, who I was very
She ain't
impressed
running for anything. She ain't running for anything. She's got nothing to lose.
We changed our whole schedule so we could see Hillary Clinton. But that's besides the point. I did get to meet Fonzie, which was my...
Hey!
I was like, hey!
Hey!
He is the nicest guy. But anyway...
Tell him he was absolutely wonderful in Arrested Development.
I will.
He played a character who, at one point in the show, he goes, hey! He starts to comb his hair and goes, hey! And it was just the most beautiful moment. Anyway, I'm sorry.
He is
Henry
a beautiful
Winkler.
guy.
Yeah.
Just such a nice guy. Anyway, so I was walking this trade show floor, and I stopped by the Boeing booth. And Boeing has a 787 Dreamliner, which you all heard about. But they had this booth set up, and they had this website that really caught my eye. And I just sent you the link.
Okay.
It's newairplane.com/787 Dreamliner -live. It should just come right up. New Airplane.
Okay.
But you have to have Google Earth, which I'm sure you do. And it is the coolest website because you can see every single 787 that's in the air.
Wow.
And so right now there's 13 airlines have the 787 and 73 787s have been delivered. So in the air right now.
Have you been on this plane yet?
I've been on it, but I haven't flown on it. I just got invited to fly on it next month.
Yeah. Wow.
With British Airways. So actually, I almost saw you in Turkey because I was like, I have a week off. I might as well go on
we should get together. Have a cup of Turkish coffee.
So anyway, did you log into that website?
I am. I'm looking at it. It's really cool.
So you can go, but whatever airline you want. So you can hit Air India, Qatar, and all around the world. To the right, you can see where it says "See Live." Or
yeah. View in Google Earth. Yeah.
My bandwidth.
Oh, I don't have the Google Earth plug-in. I'll have to install that, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But it is
awesome.
So we'll have to talk about the time.
Awesome.
But anyway, that was my main thing I was going to talk about. My other thing is that I've told you last week about the phone that I got. I was going to give you a full report.
Yeah, what did you get? You got that international thing.
Oh, I got the Nokia 1020.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Should I buy it?
Camera is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't have the apps that you need, so that's a big bummer because most people do not have the Windows apps.
Yeah, I know.
But the camera, I don't need to take my big camera. I took all my pictures of San Diego from this phone.
So are they on your website, johnnyjet.com, if I want to?
Some of them are, but what I thought I'd talk about, since I talked about the phone last week, was this cover that someone sent me months ago.
Yeah, but you didn't have the phone, but now you do.
But you can use it. It's not for the
you
Windows.
seal it. You seal it in that bag, and now you can go diving.
You can go diving, or you can take it to the beach so you don't get sand in the phone.
Can you still take pictures?
You still take pictures.
Oh,
by the way,
that.
the one downside of this camera is that the front camera is not very good. It's really pixelated and makes everyone look cross-eyed. But the regular camera is just I can't say enough things about.
You know, I'm looking at what my next like day-to-day phone is going to be, and I'm so tempted because of the camera. But on the other hand, I have good cameras.
This camera makes the iPhone 5 camera look like it's an old black.
Man. JohnnyJet.com. Find out about his trip to San Diego and where he's going next. How long are you going to be gone for?
Just a month.
Oh man. Well, we'll still talk to you wherever you are next week. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, I'm so tempted to get that 1020. Oh. So, do you have speakers on, Johnny?
I do.
Yeah, turn off the speakers. You don't need them. So what happens is you don't have speakers on?
Imagine.
So something was happening when you were talking.
That's exactly what you're doing. If you're
I was like,
really?
yeah, you were gating out. Maybe that's just the setting on Skype, which we can fix. But
I don't know. I don't have.
Maybe it's just maybe it's just a bad connection. It wasn't too horrible. If you have speakers open, you shouldn't. I guess is.
You know what? Is that better?
Yeah.
No.
Keep talking.
No.
Keep talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah. When I muted the speakers, it mutes the whole thing. So.
Yeah. No, you don't want that.
There's no exterior sound.
Okay. As long as there's no exterior sound, that's the thing you got to avoid.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe this is a new headphone. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's the first time I've used this headphone. But you got to download that Google Earth. I sent it to you earlier because
I know, but you know that I don't look at email, right?
I know, so I sent it to Alex as well.
Well, he didn't bother to tell me.
I'm sorry to rat you out.
I will download it, and we'll do it before I come back. I'll be able to do that.
All right, because it was.
I should have Google Earth on here.
Oh, I know.
Alex says, "Well, am I supposed to tell you?" No, I don't care. The reason I don't look at emails, I don't want email. So I'm going to download Google Earth, and I'll have it installed. It's radio, Johnny. I should have just said,
I know.
Pretty. That's all I had to do.
No, it's my bad.
No, not your bad at all. Why would that be your bad?
I got some cool apps that I found at walking this trade show floor that I need some time to write about. So I'll try and get
jealous.
them.
So Murray on Travel says that the tours by locals is legit. It is. That is expensive, though, huh?
And Murray knows.
Murray knows. He's a smart guy.
He is.
But I'm made.
I just never used them.
Well, I'll give you a review.
Please, and you could. There's also Viator, by the way.
What's
Viator
that?
Tour.
That sounds like a disease.
Viator.
I've been itching I got Viator on here. Viator.
Buy tickets in advance, and they have so you don't have to wait in long lines. They charge a little bit extra.
Travel with an insider. Yeah, that's the idea of this. Is that it's somebody who knows the city.
Maybe it's their competitor. I just don't know the other.
Why? There's Venice, or is that that might be Florence? Huh? That's cool. Well, I'll let you know. But I would like to get your friend. Those are the people who are doing the ice cream. They're Americans, right? Who moved to Venice or something like that.
Yeah, they're in. Oh, yeah, you should definitely meet them.
Yeah, would you just send me their email and we'll.
That's not the same friends.
Oh, there's another.
He's a military. He's a military, okay. and she does some travel tips. She has a travel blog.
But I want somebody. Lisa's so into blown glass, and I want to take her to Murano.
These guys. The problem is every tour guide, and these guys might even do it. They take you to all their friends, so they make a commission. But,
yeah, I understand.
I mean,
that's the same with. There's the same with Oriental rugs.
Same that everywhere.
Yeah,
you're not going to get out, and I can't blame them because you know what?
I bought
if you're going to take something,
beautiful.
You might as well get.
I bought a beautiful hand knotted rug in Cairo. Part of the tour, of course, but that's fine. I don't care. They're getting a kickback.
Yep.
So
it's not costing you any more money.
But the problem is, so I was looking on tours by locals. She's not too expensive. Taking you out there is like $250, but the boat is like 400 euros for 4 hours. It's really expensive. So I would love to talk to your friend. I mean, we'll pay,
but Venice. That's Venice. If you're going to go,
Venice is expensive.
If you're going to go on a gondola ride, which in the summer is really like going to Disneyland because there's going to be one gondola after another.
I don't want to go on a gondola ride, but Lisa says we can't go to Venice without going on a gondola ride.
That's what
I've been to Venice,
and she didn't do it.
I've been to Venice many times. I've never gone on I've gone on Vaporetto, but I've never gone on a gondola. But I got to do it with Lisa, and we got to do. But it's late September or middle September. It won't be too bad.
That's a busy time for older Americans without kids or kids are in school.
That's me, baby. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, take
care.
See
ya. Bye-bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Johnny Jet, I love him. I said, Johnny, I want to go on a gondola ride. He said, that's for older Americans. I said, what do you think I am, Johnny? What do you think I am? That's why I want 8888. Ask Leo. That's the number. You want to talk high tech? That's the number to call. And Paula is next in Laguna Hills, California. Hi, Paula. Leo Laporte.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, Paula.
I love your show. Thank you so much for having it. I've never called before, but I always, whenever I'm out tootling around in California, because, we have to drive everywhere.
That's right.
I absolutely always are listening to you on a Saturday morning.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So my question is, I just came out of the 19th century into the 21st.
Welcome. It's a lovely century. I think you'll enjoy it.
I bought a Galaxy S3.
All right.
And, I'm kind of old school. I appreciate my privacy. I don't want people snooping around in my business. And at the same time, I want to enjoy all of the things that all of my friends are enjoying with apps and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So the first app I downloaded, or I wanted to download, was Skype. And then I saw all of the permissions that you give it. And it's like you're basically saying, you give permission to Skype to just own everything about your phone. They can change things. They can delete things. They can.
It's very scary, isn't it? Now, one of the really nice things about Android is that you do see what permissions the application requires. And you do get to say yes or no. You can't, unfortunately, say, well, do this, but you can't do that. It's either yes or no to the application. Now, the thing, it is a little scary, and Apple chooses not to show people that and just says, trust us. And, but it's the same, because in order for the application to do what it needs to do, it needs to be able to do those things. Will it do nefarious things with those? Well, probably not. But it does have to say, look, I need access to your contacts. Look, I need access to your phone storage. I need access to your telephone. And by the time you get through, it looks like it's got full access to everything. That doesn't mean that they're going to copy it all and save it. It just means that they need, in order to operate, they need these permissions. And it's partly the fault of the operating system that it doesn't give you more granular permissions. Now,
right. Well, I kind of got that, but then I'm wondering, it's interesting that they could also say, well, you can opt out of this or this or this, but they don't give you anything. It's either you take it or you don't.
It's not set up to do that. And that's unfortunate. It would be nice, but you might be shocked that when you say no, you can't look at the storage, that the program doesn't work at all. So, so that's the reason they don't give you granular options. And I should point out, there have been cases where an application does stuff that the people who designed it think is reasonable, but you may not. For instance, there are applications, Path was one of them, where it would download a copy of your contacts and store it, save it. Whenever an application, for instance, asks you, do you want us to let you know when one of your friends starts using this tool, and you say yes to that, think about it. The only way they'd know that is by keeping a copy of your contacts on their server, and every time somebody joins saying, well, is this person a friend of Paula's? Is this person a friend of Paula's? You may not like that, and if you don't, then you should be, not allow that. You shouldn't give permissions to do that. It certainly was a big deal when people figured out that Path was doing that.
So should I feel pretty safe that things that are on the Google App Store, that they've been vetted, that they aren't malicious? I mean, should I feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah. I mean, Apple's probably taking more caution than Google is, but not much more. There's just too many applications. There's thousands every day they have to go through. So really all an App Store is kind of assuring you is that the application isn't known to be malicious, and if it does if it's discovered that it's malicious, it will be taken off your phone.
Right.
So, the thing to keep in mind with a smartphone is it is the perfect spy device.
Right.
When the girl who's terrified because she's being chased by the bad guys gets in the car with Jason Bourne, what is the first thing Jason Bourne does?
What?
He takes her smartphone and he throws it out the window.
Oh, right.
Right? Because that's how they're finding her.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
Now, that's the movies, but we've learned kind of that this may not be so far-fetched.
Yeah, well, I've kind of have decided that I have to kind of give up all of that stuff.
Well, and this is a big, big conversation that we all need to have. No, I don't think you do. And I don't think you should. I agree, and I believe we have a right to privacy. And so the key is to make informed choices, Paula, and to understand what you're giving up and when and what you're getting in return. For instance, Facebook's a really good example. When you go on Facebook, you give it everything, right? You give it where you go, what you do, who you know, what you went to school, where you're giving it everything. Now, the trade-off is I get Facebook. I get friends can find me. I can stay in touch with family members. And it's really important to have this kind of as an explicit conversation in your head. I think a lot of people don't join Facebook because they understand that. Now, is Facebook doing anything nefarious with that? No. Probably what Facebook is doing is giving it to advertisers, and not even like, hey, here's what Paula likes, but here's 50,000 of our users who are really interested in buying chain link fences. And then putting an ad for chain link fences on your Facebook. It's more like that. That doesn't bother me. It might bother you. If it does, you shouldn't use Facebook. Right. Now, there's a larger question. Well, is Facebook giving information to the government? Now, I don't think our government is malicious. I really don't. But there's always the chance that there could either be bad actors within government or that in years to come, governments could become malicious. They have done that in the past.
Right.
And that's, to me, much more of a concern. If an advertiser gets my name, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to get ads.
Right.
If the government gets your name and decides they don't like you and they happen to be kind of, malicious, what's the worst that can happen?
Right, and we never know when that government will change. So given, given as much power as we give it, we're saying we hope that the bad apples stay out.
And this is why President Obama had a press conference yesterday, and he finally addressed this issue and said, look, I understand that, he said, you need to understand that the police, the NSA, the FBI, these are patriots who are trying to protect us from bad guys. And they're collecting this information. We have and he said this, and this is very important to listen to this phrase, an unprecedented ability to gather this information.
Yeah, I know.
For the first time ever, the feds and law enforcement locally can find out everything about you, where you are, what you're doing. It's an amazing amount of information. And in the right hands, it could mean the end of crime.
Right.
Because a criminal will have a very difficult time preying on people secretly. So there's a definite positive side to this in the right hands. But we've seen time and time again, you don't have to go back in history very far. J. Edgar Hoover was collecting information about Martin Luther King. And he was the director of the FBI. So it's not unheard of. And so I think it's very important. And by the way, the president also acknowledged, rightly, civil libertarians and privacy advocates. He said, I know they're patriots too, and they want our nation to live up to its highest standards. One of those standards is the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which guarantees you against illegal search and seizure. And it is deemed by many, I myself included, that this kind of surveillance is illegal search.
Right.
It needs to be carefully overseen by Congress, by courts. It cannot be done in secret, and yet it is being done in secret.
Right.
And if you're carrying a cell phone, okay, the best case scenario, you're giving advertisers information about where you are, what you do, what you like. Worst case scenario is you're giving bad actors in a federal government information. And you know what? If you were in an area where there are drone strikes, I would not carry a cell phone. Right? Because that's just saying, here I am right here. This right here. I'm right here. And so I think this is a very important conversation for all of us to have, whatever political stripe. I think we deserve privacy. It is harder and harder to maintain it because we want some of the benefits that giving up our privacy gain us.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Bill, can I ask you one other quick question about my Galaxy?
Yes.
I noticed that in the background, there on the application manager, there's a lot of apps running.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Let it go.
I'll talk about it when we come back, but yeah, that's fine. Let it go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You know, a state of war does not overturn the Constitution. I'm sorry. And it's interesting that you should say, well, we're in a state of war, so there's no such thing as privacy. Do you understand that we will now be in endless war? We will always be in a state of the war for the rest of your life and your children's life, because that's the nature of this kind of war. And by the way, read 1984, because they were in a state of war, weren't they? And I unlike a lot of people, probably the majority at this point, I don't distrust the government. I think it's very important that we keep an eye on them. I think our founding fathers distrusted government, and that's why they created the threefold government, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, so that they would oversee one another. And they didn't put all power in the presidency. It's not a dictatorship. But who's watching the watchers? I'm not a libertarian either. I think there's a good and proper role for a government. I don't think the Founding Fathers were libertarians either. There's a good and proper role for the government. A government is just a societal contract we have with one another. It is of the people, by the people, for the people. That's the notion of our republic. And I think it's really, the most detrimental thing at this point would be to say, I don't trust the government and I wash my hands of it. I don't believe in politics. I don't believe in government. Because if you just throw up your hands and say it's over, then it is over. We have to fight for our republic. Now is a good time to start. Government is us, or it should be. It's not us if you wash your hands of it. If you say, I don't vote, they're all criminals, then you're right. And unfortunately, I think that's the direction we're moving in. I don't know how you keep it in check, and it might be that every couple of hundred years you have to revolt, overthrow it. The problem with revolutions is a lot of innocent people get hurt. It'd be nice if we could avoid that, right? And people who want to retreat to their gun cellar, are premature. So the wireless charging is called Qi. There's several standards, but there's several ways to do it, but the standard is emerging as Qi, QI. And they're inductance chargers. The Qi charging phones like the Nexus 4 and tablets like the Nexus 7 have an inductance coil built into the phone. And this, in effect, the energy coming from this charges the inductance coil. It's basic electrical theory. And so can charge the phone. Not very fast. It's not as fast as plugging it in directly, but fast enough to do it overnight, certainly. And these chargers by themselves are not, they use less power when plugged in than a wall wart does. I don't think there's a lot of loss, but there might be. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But there's sure convenience because you just come in the house and you plop your phone down on your charger and it charges. So that's nice. So I got that going for me. What I love about Google is it just downloads all of my my apps as soon as you log in. Everything's on here. That's nice. That's nice. And the last app on my list is my Bank of America app. So once I see the B of A on there, I know it's got everything. That's nice. Well, I haven't bought an Audi yet. It's blinking red. I don't know if that means it's malfunctioning or what. Yeah, most of my banking is done with USAA. Almost all my banking. My ex-wife and I have a shared account, and my kids have an account at B of A. So to give them money, I have to have a B of A account to transfer money in. I am not going to get Google Glass. I gave up my Google Glass to Jason. I can't see any reason to have Google Glass. Even at $300, I wouldn't get it. And I didn't buy a case for the Nexus 7 because I never take it out of the house. Somebody keeps calling me. 760-705-8888. Hi, this is Leo. Okay, if you keep calling me, I'm going to actually give out your number on the air and have everybody start calling you. They never answer. It's a listener. My number is public. It's on my email. You know, it's my signature in my email. I don't hide my number. And usually I don't answer it. But is it a Google Voice number? Yeah, it might be. My area code is Baltimore. So you can call me anytime, Dr. Mom. Except if you want to complain about Lisa and Scrabble. Words with Friends. Yeah, I'm not impressed by the LG G2. That's not something on my list. It's too big. I'm kind of one of the things I really like about the Moto X. It's small. No, I do not have the random reboot. I haven't seen that. I've seen people have it, but I don't have it. Lisa just got her Nexus 7. We'll see if that does it. I'm interested in the new iPhone. I don't know if I'm excited about it, Weeb. I don't see Apple doing anything that's going to get me excited, but if they do, I'll be very happy. HTC One Max I am interested in, but you know what? I'm starting to come around a little bit. I was a big Note 2 fella, and I will certainly be interested in Note 3, probably buy one, and probably an HTC One Max when they come out. But with it, you know, the HTC One with 1080p has a lot of screen real estate, and it's very beautiful and small. I was disappointed that it didn't have wireless charging, but I know why it didn't. They maximized the battery. So they did a lot of tricks to get the most battery in here. And the Ubuntu Edge, I was going to, I don't know. What are they trying to raise? Like $8 million? It's not going to happen. No, I'm saying I'm going against size these days. I'm going the other way. No, that's not. Look that's Google Now. It doesn't have any troubles when I say, okay, Google Now. It only has trouble just like Google Now would. Well, hey, how you doing? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Hour 3 of the Tech Guy program, 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Outside the U.S., you can always call via Skype. It's still toll free. And we have a great website, techguylabs.com, techguylabs.com. Before the break, we were talking about task killers. Love the name. And the Android operating system. And, you know, it's funny. In the early days of computing, there were a lot of programs, there still are, utilities that to do things that kind of seemed like they'd be a good idea. Memory managers, memory cleaners, registry cleaners, defraggers, that just make people feel good. People want to maintain their computer. They feel like if they don't maintain it, it's like a car. If they don't change the oil, it's going to come off the wheels. The truth is, a modern operating system needs no maintenance any more than a modern car needs a tune-up. It handles all of this stuff by itself. And if you buy a registry cleaner or a memory cleaner or defragger, sometimes called memory defraggers, you're wasting your money. In fact, it could be worse than that. You could be, it's like taking vitamins. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry I said that. There was a recent study that indicated that taking vitamins had absolutely zero benefit. Makes you feel good. And I'm not saying this is true. I'm not a doctor. We'll let Dean Adele handle that one. You saw that study, though. I'm not making this up.
Oh, for sure. They've been doing studies like this for years.
That you don't really
save your money.
Yeah, it's expensive to take a lot of vitamins. Now, I think you should take vitamin D personally, but again, I ain't a doctor. So, but I am a computer expert, so I'll say it about computers. And now with smartphones, same thing. People want to run these memory manager things. You don't need them. And they look, you know, if you look at the recent apps on your iPhone, you know, you double tap the home button or you launch the recent apps on your smartphone, on your Android phone, and you see look at all these things. Oh, they're taking a memory. They're slowing it. No. You can on the modern Android operating system swipe them away. You can on the iPhone, hold them and get them to jiggle, jiggle, jiggle and press the X. You don't need to. Because modern mobile operating systems understand they're in constrained resources. There's not an infinite amount of memory. In fact, in most cases, smartphones have no more than 2 gigabytes of RAM. In many cases, lots less. There are slower processors and of course, battery's a big issue. So what? So the key here on all of this is let it do its thing. It knows what it's doing. You may say, but wait a minute, there's all these things running. No, don't worry about it. You may say, oh, wait a minute, I'm looking at a memory manager. People actually go out and get memory management things to see how much memory is used. I got 2 gigs of RAM, and it's all being used. You do this on your computer. I get calls all the time. All of my memory is it's supposed to. That's it's operating properly. It uses every bit of memory it has, and then when it runs out, it gets more. It says, okay, well, we need some memory, so you in the back, the one that hasn't been used in half an hour, see ya. And it throws you out and gets more memory. It's fine. Task killers on modern Android. Now, Gingerbread and older versions, Windows 98 and older versions, okay, maybe you needed some help. But modern versions of Android, modern versions of Windows, modern versions of OS X, you don't need any of these utilities. It's designed to handle itself. In fact, task killers on Android often kill your battery because they're running in the background all the time, keeping an eye on things. So to answer your question, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Nicole in Santa Clarita, California. Hi, Nicole. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey.
I have a question. It's interesting. Just a side note. My father was born in Petaluma, too. I know it very well. It's a wonderful
Isn't it a great little chicken town?
It's a great place. It's my father, when they first put the See's Candy sign up, he and his buddies climbed up to the top of it and sat on it as it twirled around and waved at the traffic below.
It's that kind of town.
In the old days. Okay, so I have a quick question for you. And it's a real frustrating one. I hooked up Google Voice to my cell phone, and I decided I didn't want to use it or it wasn't working for me, and I deleted the Google Voice account completely.
Ooh.
And I still have it connected to my cell phone.
Right.
Because it wouldn't let me disconnect my cell phone from it because it needed a number to connect the Google Voice phone number to.
Right.
So now I'm screwed.
Well, what's happening? Are people calling your old Google Voice number?
No, when people call my cell phone number, if I don't pick up, Google Voice comes
Google Voice answers it. That's easy to fix.
It says we're trying to find you, and we can't find you,
right.
And then there's no way they can leave a voicemail.
Right, because Google Voice is taking over.
Right.
So what you want to do is, that's a setting in your carrier's voicemail settings.
I've been through. I'm on.
Who's your carrier? Sprint.
Sprint.
Okay.
I've been through everything.
So a couple of things you could do. First of all, you could install the Google Voice app on your phone and then turn it off. But I
actually deleted the Google Voice app from my phone.
Yeah, I understand, but well, let me see. If you don't have a Google Voice, do you have Google Voice is still attached to your Google account though, I would guess?
No, I went on to I logged on to Google Voice.
See, all you need to do is get Sprint. See, Google Voice, when you first configure it, said, who do you want to handle voicemail? You want us to do it or you want Sprint to do it? And at the time, you said, I want Google Voice to do it. Now, there are 2 different ways it does it depending on the carrier, and I can't remember which Sprint handles. Sometimes they say, okay, type number 3344. They give you this long thing you type, which basically says forward calls to Google Voice and let it handle the voicemail. So that is simple. You just turn it off. And Gmail is saying *73 on your phone. That'll turn off voicemail forwarding, and it won't happen anymore. Or *730. I'm not sure. So Sprint is so do *730. If that still doesn't work, just call Sprint and say, can you disable carrier? I want to switch back to Sprint voicemail, disable this other company's.
Okay.
So what happened is you set up your phone to forward it to Google Voice. You just turn that off now.
Okay. I just looked for every way. I've gone
I understand. I know. Take a deep breath. I know. Take a deep breath. This is the issue. They're not calling your Google Voice number. They're calling your cell phone number, right?
Right.
And what happens is your cell phone, instead of going to voicemail, lets Google Voice do it. So you just have to tell Sprint, no, I don't want Google Voice. I want Sprint. And the *73 will actually make it *730. That will do it. That says to the phone, yeah, don't forward it to that Google Voice number.
Okay.
And I think you'll be done.
All right. Thank you very much.
Deep breath. It's going to be okay.
Thanks.
Sure. Oh, I can tell the frustration. Now, I don't know what you do. One other thing you can do with Google Voice, which I love, by the way, I have a Google Voice number, and instead of giving out my phone number, I give out my Google Voice number, and then everybody can call whatever, because I use a lot of different phones, right? That Google Voice number will ring whatever phone I have it set to, or in my case, 5 different phones. Now, if I then deleted my Google Voice account, those phones would still work. But if you called my Google Voice number, I don't know, if somebody else got that number, they'd answer. I don't think that's I think you can log into your Google account. I think you can log into your Google account and just turn it off. Even if and once you've deleted that, I don't think you have to worry about it. If you delete your account, I think you're fine. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, I think she might have just deleted the app, which is nothing. I think she's probably just deleted the Google Voice app. If you canceled your Google Voice account, I think the only problem was that the voicemail was still forwarding to Google Voice. The soup today is a delicious Thai curry chicken. When will the robot, don't you love the robot? I don't know how I'm going to use the robot. It's right there. He's charging. If she had canceled the account, she wouldn't even get the voicemail. Okay. I love the Chromecast. I have not had any ruin them. I'm not sure I want to, just the name alone. Complicated story about Exchange Server. The Google folks, so we were talking last hour to somebody who says, I want to use Outlook with my contacts and address book and calendar, contacts and calendar on my Google phone. Now, of course, the way Google Android works, it doesn't speak directly to Outlook anyway. It speaks to the Google Calendar on the web and the Google Contacts on the web. In order for this to work properly, you would have to synchronize your Outlook with Google in the cloud. And there are tools that will do that. Google has turned off, or is about to turn off, I think they go back and forth on this, their Exchange Active Sync support. This is how you used to do it. You would use your Exchange account, or you would pretend you were setting up an Exchange server on your iPhone or your Android phone, and then it would give you some check boxes. You want mail? Yeah. You want calendar? Yeah. You want address book? Yeah. And it would all just kind of work. It doesn't, Google's turned that support off now, and that's broken a lot of people's hearts because you now have to use the more traditional Google syncing. The solution is really, and isn't a great solution, Google doesn't do it for you. You have to buy a third-party app that you run on your desktop that will sync your Outlook up to the Google Calendar and then use that Google Calendar in the Google address book. Easiest way to do it. 8888 Ask Leo. Chuck in Tennessee. Hey, Chuck. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Been a fan of yours since '98 when you first started ZDTV.
Well, thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a problem. I tried to get you a couple of weeks ago, but it wasn't through. But I finally struggled through it, and now I want some help to prevent it again.
All right. What is the issue?
Well, I got stuck some way. I had to reformat the hard drive.
Okay.
And then when I went to put the image file back on, I had a bad disk.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then so I had to go all the way back to that D drive.
Okay.
And so then I spent 2 weeks getting it back. So I just last week got me a new Surface Pro.
Okay.
And the first thing I did on there was it told me how to make a recovery flash drive.
Yes.
Now I want to do that for my Windows 7 on my desktop.
It's different for 8 and 7, of course.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
First thing I went over and tried to do it, and it says it's not a source for generating a flash drive.
Right. So you need some separate software on Windows 7 to do it, and it's not hard. It's easy, and you're going to create what's called an image file. Sometimes they call it a ghost file. So your Windows 7's working now, right? You got that all solved, right?
Oh, I finally got it. I think I've got it fixed. Every once in a while I run across something I missed.
Yeah, all right. Well, it boots up okay. Once you get it so you feel like, yeah, I want to. This is how I want it to be. Then you want to make a disk image of that drive, a bootable disk image. And there are a number of programs that'll do this. They used to call it ghosting the drive because there was a program from Norton. You remember Peter Norton called Ghost.
I had one many years ago.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people in IT departments use Norton Ghost to make image copies. Nowadays, there are other programs we use. There's a free one from easeus.com, easeus.com. And it will make, it's under their backup software, it'll make a bootable image copy of your computer so that you can, if you ever want to restore your computer or something bad happens again, you just do what you did with the Windows 8 disk. You just stick it in and it recovers the whole thing.
Right. Okay, I knew there's some way to do it, but
Windows 7 backup I think does this, but I'm not a big fan of Windows 7 backup. I would use one of these drive snapshot tools. That's another one I like a lot, which is called Drive Snapshot from drivesnapshot.de. That one's not free. And then there's a program that Steve Gibson, my hard drive guru, really likes called Disk Imager. These are the nice thing about these more recent ones is unlike Ghost, you can be in Windows and build the image file. Really a good idea. They're commercial programs like Acronis True Image will do it. Clonezilla requires you exit Windows, you boot up a Linux drive and make a clone. That's free as well. There are lots of ways to do it. Mostly I think EaseUS is the one we recommend these days because it's the easiest. And once you got it, you put it aside, you can put it on a USB key, you can put it on a CD, anything you can boot from, and that thing will get you back within minutes. You don't have to go through this lengthy and painful process that you went through last time. So highly recommended. Grant is on the line from L.A. You're next. Hi, Grant. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm having problems, or not quite problems, but with my computer I built about a week ago. I finally got it working. I have Ubuntu on it, and it's the newest version, and it's been really stable, and it's been working well.
How old are you, Grant?
I'm 10.
Oh, my gosh. But you prefer Linux?
Yeah, I do prefer Linux because I think it's much more stable. You know, it doesn't have the blue screens and stuff.
No, yeah, Linux is great, and it's free.
Yeah.
By the way, it's great. It's great for you as a way to learn about technology and computing because it's basically a Unix operating system. And if you ever wanted to get a job in computers, knowing that how to use that would be very valuable.
Yeah.
It's also good if you ever want to be a hacker because most hackers are also Linux experts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that. No. So what's the problem?
Maybe I do.
Maybe you do. Oh, my goodness. Be a good hacker, okay? What we call a white hacker. You're not stealing stuff. You're helping people be. You know what? Nowadays, and I say hacker in the best sense of the word, that is a great skill, to be a white hat hacker, somebody who understands how computers work so well they can help people protect themselves. You will do very well. So what can I do? What can I do to help you along, to fast track your white hacking career?
So what I want to do, I'm wondering if I should spend $100 on a Windows disk, or should I just, I don't know, stay with.
It sounds like, Grant, you're doing really well. Why buy Windows? Is there something you can't do that you need to?
Games.
Yeah, that's the reason to buy Windows.
I only have. There's only a few games that are good. Well,
that's going to get better. Do you know about Steam?
Yeah, I know. That's what that's my game service.
Yeah, so Steam is great. And, of course, when you go to Steam, you'll see lots of Windows games, a few Mac games, and a very few Linux games. But I think that's going to change because the folks at Steam are building a new device, a Steam box, that will probably be Linux. And that means there's going to be a lot of incentive for developers to develop Linux games. So hang in there. 8888 Ask Leo's the number. I was going to show you, Heather, this my robot.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is kind of crazy, but it actually works really well. It's called it's from Double Robotics, and it's a little expensive. It's $2,500, but it's a robot, right? So that's not that expensive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, huh? What are you laughing at?
I don't know. It's the price of a used Mazda Miata. What? But,
yeah, but can you drive a Mazda Miata around with your iPad? All right. So here's the thing. I'm on the website that I can control it with, and you can do this from a computer or another iPad. I have a camera in there, so I'm going to have the camera taking a picture of me, and then I'm going to, let's see. Hello, robot. Let's see. It's not working. Hello, robot. Get on. Oh, wait a minute. I got to push a button here.
Can you reach it? So the robot's face said "the boss" on it.
See, I'm going to use this to. That's my telepresence.
Okay. Oh, I see.
See what I'm saying? Now I'm going to walk around with my robot and come. I can look at the brick house. I can wander around. I can say hello.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So when there's a party that you don't really want to go to, because these people always throw lame parties, you just send the robot.
Right.
And sit at home and drink your own booze and smoke your own cigars.
I put it in upside down. I don't know. It's something strange is going on, but I'll have to set it up. You hear that echoing too. That's another problem.
Really look forward to meeting you, Robot Leo.
Robotically? We're going to take a walk with the robot a little later on. So you stick your iPad in the top, and that becomes the head. And it has a camera, so you can see, I could walk over to you, and you would see from my camera, with the device I'm controlling it with, either the computer or the phone or the iPad, you would see me. We can have a conversation. There's a microphone and everything. So it's telepresence. And I would see you because it uses the camera on it. It's called telepresence. But it seems to be stuck right now. I don't. I have to work on it. It might need to go into the shop. I had the parking brake on. Maybe it hasn't released it. It's pretty cool. Who should I talk to next, Edda?
Oh my goodness.
Should I go to Dennis? Yeah.
Yes.
He's in Glendale.
Yeah.
I like that city. I like the name Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yes, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, thanks for calling.
Yes, I had a question regarding Google Plus, how to change one's Google ID into a nickname.
Yeah, you can't do that with Google Plus natively. They will, if they like you or something, I don't know what it is, they will give you a nickname. But, for instance, if you go to plus.google.com/+sign Leo Laporte, that's me. But not everybody, for some reason, not everybody gets that treatment. You just, maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to be, I don't know what, famous, verified. I have a little checkbox next to my name. I verified it by using a credit card and stuff on my Google Plus account. I'm not sure how. But there are other name shorteners for Google Plus that will let you create a nickname. Because, yeah, your Google Plus website is like 73459. It's a lot of numbers. So what you want is a Google Plus name shortener that would allow you to do it. Now, the one way to do it is to create an account, or you don't even have to create an account. It's just to use bit.ly, bit.ly. That's a URL shortener. And then, so here's the step-by-step. Go to your Google Plus page and get your Google Plus link. If you go to your profile, you'll get that link. Copy that. Go to bit.ly, bit.ly, and shorten it. And then you'll be able to give, and you can name it whatever's not used. So you can say, hey, bit.ly/hey, I'm Dennis is your Google Plus name. And if people go to bit.ly/hey, I'm Dennis. Now, I suspect bit.ly/Dennis is gone. But you can find other name shorteners, any other URL shortener. If you could find one that has Dennis, you could use that. There used to be a Google Plus kind of, well, I don't know if it was specific. I think it was gplus.me. Let me see if that's right. Nope, not that. There was one that was like people were using on Google Plus. Or was it gplus.to? That's it. gplus.to. Then it's the same thing, though. It's just a URL shortener. But because it's gplus.to, people maybe make it a little bit easier. You could just paste your Google Plus ID into it, and it will generate. So I'm going to place plus Leo Laporte, and I'm going to generate it, and it doesn't like that one. It doesn't work for me. You'll put your whole URL in there. Carlos Danger is taken. I'm sorry, yeah. Probably Dennis is too, but you might be able to find one that you can use for a shortcut. I like Google Plus. It's Google's response to Facebook and Twitter. I think the conversations are pretty good there. The problem is just not that many people use it. Everybody has a Google Plus account. If you have a Google account, you have a Google Plus account. And Google counts those people as users. They say, well, we have 400 million users. Yeah, but most of those people have never even visited. You just kind of get that automatically. Lou in our chat room says he got a nice short one because he got it right away. gplus.to. But you could use bit.ly or tinyURL or any of the other URL shorteners to do the same thing. Barry is in Ulysses, Kentucky. Hi, Barry. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing fine. Good to talk to you. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, my question is about sound systems in a church. I am the IT guy, the go-to guy, sort of, for my church.
Right on.
And we started about 3 years ago doing audio over the internet, live stream. And I got an email the other day that the sound quality sounds horrible. And when I went back and looked at the recording, because we recorded also and archive it, it does sound horrible. It actually sounds like a rock band. So my question is, what is causing that? And how can I fix it? We're actually looking into maybe getting a new sound system, so I actually wanted a few recommendations.
Well, presumably your existing sound system sounds fine in the church, or people would also complain.
Right.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like a rock band in the church. So there's a lot of places it could go wrong, but we know that given that it sounds fine in the church, it's not the microphone, it's not the amplifier. How are you getting the audio into the computer for streaming it?
It goes through a mono male-to-male cable. This sound system came over on the Ark, I think.
At least it's blessed by Noah.
Yeah.
So probably, I would guess that's the first thing to look at is it's probably overdriving. You know, when you say it sounds like a rock band, what it really is it's clipping because it's so loud. So because it's too loud. So you probably have, I'm guessing, because I'm not looking at it, but too much level going into the computer that's streaming it. So you want to look at, make sure that your for instance, a lot of computer inputs have mic input, but if they have a line input, you might try that instead. And you might need to get a preamp or some other device in between your church sound system and the computer. But I think that's probably where the issue is, that there's a mismatch between the level that's coming out of your sound system at the church and the level that's going into the computer, and it's too much. It's driving it too hard. Once it gets into the computer, and how are you streaming it out?
We actually have a streaming server that it's sent to, and then it goes out from there.
Chances are it's the analog issue that I mentioned. It's unlikely to be anywhere else. That's the first place I'd look anyway. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Pray for better sound. All right, now wait a minute. I'm gonna Hamana. It's talking to
if
it.
you're running a small business, you can't operate at anything less than full speed. That's why you need the world's
It's working. That part's
two-sided
working
inkjet
okay.
printer, the Epson Workforce
I understand what's
Pro.
going
I can
on
vouch
here.
for it. I have not just one,
So,
not just two, but three
it should unpark
Epson
now.
Workforce Pros. I do in my office at home, in my office at
Doesn't
work.
seem like I'm
Let me tell you, we
communicating.
love them.
Let me
It's
try
more than
raising
those
it.
two. I mean, it is
It's an
That's
iPad
just
attached
half
to a
the story.
Segway.
Epson also knows you got to run a tight ship.
Yeah, basically that's it. It's like a little mini iPad Segway. That's exactly what it is.
I love that.
But
So I
something-
saw two people flying down the street on Segways this morning on my way in.
Yeah,
here
these
in
Segway
Petaluma.
people are nuts.
Have you seen them?
Let's start over again. Yeah, I know who they are. It's my old massage therapist and her boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
It was a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you see
kinda-
that they had a baby?
They had a baby with them? Well, maybe that's a different group. Okay.
Okay, so it looked like
so
the
there- so
man.
I'm talking to the boss. Why is that like that? Is that it sees me?
The man-
Oh, I didn't power on the bass. Thank you, Dai. Could you turn on the bass, Jeffrey?
More
The
bass.
bass isn't on, of course.
More bass.
Stupid me. It's on the back. I forgot you have to turn it on.
So the big man on the Segway appeared to have a little baby. I'm
Maybe,
like, that just
or
does not
maybe
seem
a
very
cat.
safe.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I know.
I would do it with a pet. And the back, there's
It was very weird.
Is it on?
Is this thing on?
Is the parking brake going up?
Oh shoot, we're almost out of time, huh? I'm really liking line 5, by the way.
I don't know if I'm going to get to him. It depends
Right.
how much talking.
I'll get him tomorrow. But my nose detects a little bit of a possible rat.
A rat? Good.
Smell a rat.
Is it on? Yeah, me. Because I wanted to drive everywhere. Do I have to pair this? Bluetooth is on. It's not paired.
I thought there was a light on the base station.
It should be.
It's
Maybe
not
it's
on.
not charged. You know, it was plugged in, but I bet it's not charged. It's probably just not charged.
Oh, it's not plugged in.
Oh.
Someone unplugged it.
Somebody unplugged my robot. Gosh darn it.
Robot doesn't come with a battery pack?
Probably the janitor's unplugged. Yeah, but it's got to be charged. Could you, yeah, now it's charging. Could you just take that
Don't unplug the robot to plug in the vacuum cleaner
That's what
and then
happened.
not
And
plug
forget
the
to plug it
robot
in.
back
I
in.
gotta put a sign. Please leave me plugged in. I'm busy. So we'll have to wait till it charges before I can demo it. Tomorrow I'll demo it. And yeah, I do want to do it on the Gizwiz for sure. I'll surprise Dick with it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He's Dick DeBartolo, the Gizwiz, our gadget guru. He's many years the Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and he kind of has a penchant. Do you have a penchant for gadgets?
Yeah, it's $5 a week. It's not working out at all.
That's why you got to get a better pension.
Yeah. Well, that's all Twit offers.
Yeah, how can I give you a pension when you're still working?
Yeah, I know.
It's just not right.
No.
Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how are you?
I'm very well. What do you? I was going to show you my robot, but you know what happened? I figured it out. Somebody unplugged it, and so the battery's drained.
Oh, don't you have a little robot that would run around and plug the big robot
I need to
in?
get another robot to plug in the unplugged robot.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
I think the
you
cleaning
need a-
crew came in here. They said, "What is this?" I unplugged it. vacuumed and didn't plug it back in again.
Oh, yeah. No, they looked at it and they said, oh, they're going to get electronic cleaners.
Yes. Trying to take my job, are you?
Trash this guy.
Oh, no. No. So what do you got? What do you got for us?
I have a fun backpack, probably for your audience, because it's a backpack designed for people who like to carry electronics.
Oh.
So it's called the Cocoon. So at the back of the backpack, there are 2 padded and lined pockets, one for a laptop up to 15 inches, one for your tablet. And then that zips closed. It has its water-resistant nylon and waterproof zippers. Then the front of the compartment fully opens, and inside is a giant gridit. Now, I don't know if you have...
What the heck is a gridit?
A gridit
is that like a small, furry creature from the Hobbit movies?
No, that's a hoppet.
Oh.
the gridit is very clever. It's a series of elastic straps of varying widths that behind every one of them, you slip like your iPhone, your battery, roll up your cables, put in your SD cards. And that way, when you open the backpack and drop that compartment down, you can see everything that's in there, your camera, your charger.
So it's kind of like it's like a weave, like a plaid of rubberized straps and
elasticized straps. Exactly.
You can put anything of any size in because you just pick the straps that you need.
That is exactly right. And then when you open it, you see everything as opposed to a regular backpack where everything falls to the bottom, and you reach around there and said, it should be. I'm feeling around for something that's about 4 inches square. It should be my charger.
Now, you got a backpack with this built in, but I see that they also sell just standalone ones you could put into a suitcase.
Yes, that's what it started out at. It started out as gridit for packing, and they make them for school supplies. They make them for the suitcase, and this is the first time I think they've come up with a backpack that incorporates it, and it's the biggest gridit that they've made so far. So it's called the Cocoon Slim Backpack. And they're at cocooninnovations.com. And also, while you're there, you can see all the Grid-It devices.
Grid-It. And they actually, I see one that has a pouch for your computer that you could slide your computer in one side, and then the other side would have these straps.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. That's like the inside of the backpack.
Yeah.
But that you can throw in your suitcase.
But so I'd put this for my suitcase. This is pretty cool.
Perfect.
Dickie D is at gizwiz.biz. That's his website. If you want to go there, you can see notes for this and all the other gadgets he mentions on our show and on other shows like ABC World News Now and so forth.
Yeah. You can also
go ahead.
You can also see what you're going to win because they just released the cover of the October issue. So it's
I like it. It's President Obama as spy versus spy.
With the spies, yeah.
I love that. That's good. Boy, you know what? If there were any doubt in the president and the administration's mind that this privacy issue is a mainstream story, the fact that it's on the cover of Mad Magazine tells you. This is pretty serious stuff here. So what he's talking about is you could win it because he has this little contest. It's kind of fun, where you guess what a gadget is. There's a close-up picture of something. I don't know what it is. Gizwiz.biz. Click the What the Heck Is It contest button. And now there's 12 autographed Mad Magazines for the right answer, but there's 24 for the wrong answer. So I would just get it wrong if I were you. But clever, in a clever way.
In a clever way. Cleverly wrong.
Cleverly wrong. That's kind of my whole motto here.
That's it. Yeah, that's the whole...
I'm wrong, but I'm clever. All right, Dick, hang around. The Giz Fizz coming up next in just a little bit as we wind up this edition.
And I'll see you Tuesday.
And I'll see you Tuesday, absolutely, for our regular podcast, The Giz Wiz Show on twit.tv. Our next call is Bill in Chico, California. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Leo. It's Chino, not Chico.
Oh, Chino. Got it. Thank you.
Hey, I want to sign up with Vonage Service, and my connection to the internet is with a clear USB stick and a Cradle Point router. And I'm getting different answers on the internet, whether that's a good idea or not.
So you're using Clear, which is a wireless, kind of like 4G. It's WiMAX internet access. And, of course, Vonage, which is voice over the internet, requires a pretty solid, doesn't have to be super fast, but a pretty solid, reliable data stream. If you can get consistently 512 megabytes per second, and that's not, by the way, that's not down, that's up. Even 384 up would be, if it were reliable, would be enough for Vonage because it's just voice. My problem is that Clear is probably not that consistent. Have you tried to see how consistent it is?
I have a pretty good internet connection. What's holding me off is the commitment, of course, to Vonage for the service. And what I've read on the internet about possible conflicts, it doesn't seem anything's dated this year, but in previous years, people had complained about.
Well, I wouldn't, for instance, try it with a satellite internet service. You need to have good, reliable internet service. You know, Vonage is an E911 provider. You can use it to replace your regular phone. I generally don't recommend it. If what you're really looking for is a way to use your internet access for inexpensive phone calls, but you're willing to have a lifeline service for 911, then there are other ways to do it that are probably better.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe Skype would work. I like something called OBHI, and a number of people in the chat room say, why don't you mention OBHI? OBIHAI. It's kind of an interesting technology. It is voice over the internet. It is not 911, and they're very careful to let you know you won't get 911 service. That's pretty important. But what it does, it is free. You buy the OBHI device, $49.99, $50. You get the free Google Voice service, and then you'll be using Google Voice for your phone calls. It'll even use a regular phone as long as you can plug the OBHI device into your internet. So you put that by your router. You can plug a phone into it. I use a cordless phone. I can get around the house. And then phone calls, incoming and outgoing, will use your Google Voice number. Free, forever. Well, until Google either puts it out of business or starts charging you. Neither of which seem likely. So I think that's another good choice. But again, 911 is the big issue. And Vonage does offer 911. It's E911, but at least you have some, you know, what would happen if you had a heart attack? That's the thing to think about. I'm on the floor. I'm feeling terrible. What am I going to do? Can you call 911? Can you get a quick response? That's the issue. And I think everybody needs some way to do that. Hey, thanks for the call. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.